Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1.
Matt.
Hello there, and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner, and I'll be your guide through this world of video games over the next 2.5 hours. With me is Sean Bell.
Hello.
James Farley.
Oh, hey.
And Matthew Murray.
Oh, hey, didn't see you there.
Of course. Oh, fuck. That was quite sweet. Could you imagine doing a whole show like that? I reckon we could do a whole show like that. Just not warn anyone. A whole
What, just like fully...
show.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sean, you look shocked like we don't always sound like that.
I was going to say, what was I talking about? Yeah.
We're always just smooth, aren't we?
Yeah. There we go.
That was quite smooth. We'd like to start the show by thanking our Patreon producers for this month. I don't know if I could call them full Nels.
We need a discussion about that, didn't we?
Oh, no.
I know. And it seems to me you live your life.
I'm like a full nails in the wind.
Can I ask you, were you genuinely pissed off with Sean when he fucked up your intro music? Matt?
Yes.
I
It would have got pulled off YouTube.
I don't think it would have got
sorry,
pulled
what?
off YouTube.
I mean, probably not, but it was funny to... Because initially what I was thinking of doing was if you'd all gone for, like, copyrighted songs, I was gonna do a joke where, like, I'd only play, like, 3 seconds of them each. And
Well,
you'd have
yeah,
to, like...
that's what happened.
Well, yeah,
That's what happened in the end.
Ironically enough.
Yeah, I could
yeah,
tell when Matt was sat down next to me, he was seething that he didn't get his Candle in the Wind played
Is
out.
that why he was doing offensive jokes and stuff to get me back?
Not
Yeah, I think
offensive
that might have
jokes.
been.
Risque jokes.
It was just near the edge.
Near the
like
knuckle.
That, you know.
Yeah.
All
like,
right.
it's not the crowd wanted.
Ill-advised.
None of you.
All right,
oh,
Matt,
this
you-
is the song.
American comedian.
Boring. Oh, I want a point. Boring. I know the answer. Boring.
So I've got a question, right? So obviously,
Yeah. Hit me.
Major Nelson's not dead. He's
Well,
just
as
just
good
quit his
as.
job. However,
We are really ruining short James's
Sorry, he
news.
just did what? He
Wrecking
just did
the
what,
news.
Sean?
Thank you.
no, I was just
He
going to say,
did
but obviously he's just like retired, right? He's quit his job, or
Wait, I don't think he
Whatever.
quit his
Find-
job.
find
did he?
out
I think
later.
he-
maybe he was
Find out later,
maybe-
Sean, in the
yeah, did he
news.
fall or was he pushed? I'm just saying, does the title does Major Nelson still exist, or is he just Larry Hryb now?
Oh my God! What if it's yeah?
Is it an
What if
intellectual
it's
property
like,
owned by Microsoft? do you
Captain
think?
America. What if it's like Captain America and then we get a
He'll
new
pass
Major
on the
Nelson?
shield.
Oh my God! Pass on the shield.
Yeah, and the new Major Nelson is like some 16-year-old kid. It's like,
I mean,
hey, I'm Major
to be
Nelson.
completely fair, he never
Hey,
wrote his own
Major
blog or
Nelson.
anything anyway, so
It'd be fucking Jeff Keighley. That's who it'll be.
He's
Oh,
got
could you
bigger fish to
imagine?
fry than become
Jeff
Major
Keighley would
Nelson.
never go in house, mate. He's a
No,
he's
he is the house.
He
a maverick.
fucking no,
He's a
hold on,
vagabond.
he fucking would. He would. He would if Microsoft come calling. He
no,
absolutely
he wants to
would.
build his own thing, Dave.
No, I
he
don't
needs
think
His
so.
own.
You wave a little bit of money in
Island.
front of his scrawny little face, he'd jump at it. Chomp. I'd like to apologise to Ellie Gibson for that. I know she's a big fan. Our
But
Full
I
House
think
crew.
we probably do need a conversation about renaming. Do we need to rename the Four Nails crew?
No,
Or
I
is
think
it
we.
now-
I think
No,
we. Yeah, that
because,
we make a
yeah,
plaque out of it, right?
The concept of going full Nels exists in our hearts and our spirit.
Yeah,
And
it's not
lives on-
representative of one man, Matt.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
lifestyle, isn't it? It's not a person.
It is a lifestyle.
It will also
Yeah,
be
it's a
even
way of-
better
way of
when in
thinking.
6 months' time we get him on the show, and he'll love it.
I thought you were going to say 6 months' time when he actually dies.
Yeah, I
And,
thought it was
uh,
You
going
gonna
very
arrange
well.
that? You gonna arrange that, James? Are you?
Yeah,
You
sure,
gonna
sure.
get
Yeah,
involved in
I'm-
it?
I'm-
yeah,
I'm
sure,
getting-
sure. It's not
doing it
gonna
right
happen,
now.
is it?
He's got contacts, Dave.
No, he hasn't. QuickBooks chap, Simon Nelson, Moomin Biscuit, trans rights are human rights. Dave Ernsberger, Colin Brown, Gasman, Rocketman 76, Grey Dragon Claw, Smooth Monkey, Colin Smith, Richard Sawyer, John Tempelli, Jackie Sniper, Gordon Garrow, Safe as Records, Sam Higton, Jonathan Edwards, Fred Fenge, Tom S., Ryan Cobain, Hayes Red Miss, Sonic the Fighter's champion and Soundpeats enthusiast, Skylar, and Josh Hunt. They're the crew. They're the crew that you all want to be, but you can't. Well, you
I can't help but
actually. You've
notice
got Patreon.
Skylar's
Yeah,
changed
everyone
their
can.
name. So does that mean we've let them down on the South Dakota business?
Probably. I probably just found it not funny.
I am sorry, Skylar.
Yeah, I got Skylar's email, sorry, name, and yeah, it's just Skylar now. So South
Alright.
Dakota is out of here.
Shame.
Blimey.
Patreon.com/TCGS if you want to join that crew, or if you want to do any other tier. We've got our. Are we announcing what we're doing for the talks over?
Yeah,
this
I think we
week?
should.
It's the Xbox. We're going back to conferences because I found an Xbox 360 one that we hadn't covered before, and
Well,
they're
hang on. Is
always
this
my
not?
favourite.
Oh, is this not because of the Danny O'Dwyer
Very-
business?
That as well.
The what business?
The Danny O'Dwyer stuff.
No, because it's not on Danny O'Dwyer's YouTube
Oh,
channel.
is it not?
So,
Right, sorry, I assumed it
so-
was.
Right, so Danny O'Dwyer, if you read the messages, Sean.
Clearly not.
Danny O'Dwyer has set up an archive YouTube channel, which we will be watching plenty of. But I looked on it today, and there's nothing there that we can really do a talks over of.
Yeah,
but
we checked
so
and
no,
it was all shit, actually, Danny. So get a wiggle on, yeah.
have a word, sunshine.
No, it's funny, isn't it? Because
with
it's one of those
yourself.
things that when we heard about it, it was like, oh man, this is what an amazing thing he's doing for, just archival, historic purposes, etc., etc. Also, as people who have a, a past of talking over old conferences, sort of rubbing our hands together. Cheers,
Yeah, we were
Danny,
pretty happy
appreciate
about
it.
that. Pretty happy about that. But
Appreciate
no, we're
that.
watching the E3 2004 Microsoft press conference. It's a significant one, and I'm not going to tell you why. So please don't look it up.
Okay.
Well, you wouldn't, would you? It was fucking ages ago. It's 19 years ago. But there was something happened in that conference that we won't talk about. And please don't look it up, because when it happens, I think we'll all have a very good time. But if you
Yeah, I'm
want to
not
see
gonna
that, go to
But I was like, have we done it before? But no, we've done Nintendo at E3 2004 and the PSP reveal at E3 2004, but we've not done Xbox. So it's gonna be good.
Alright. Patreon.com/TCGS if you want to watch that or listen to our bonus shows. That's enough for Patreon. Feedback to last week's show, Matt. Let's go.
Yes, they did love it. You're right. Simmer, the kettle's boiling.
Hang on, you're right, Dave. What's going on?
Yeah, I sort of just had my brain went. We did do a normal show last week, didn't we?
We did.
Like, okay.
Yeah, I kept thinking I had the week off.
Not
but I
a
didn't.
memorable
I just,
one though, apparently. But
I just missed the last 2 minutes, and I'm like, oh man, what was happening?
Oh yeah, that's right. Go on.
Anyway, Simmer, the kettle's boiling, has some feedback. Hey, TCGS cock rings. And a long-term listener, first-time writer, 2 bits of feedback.
Whee.
I've just binged all of Dark Calls over a really busy week at work, having never played any of the games. I really got into the pod, but when James admitted to cheating the rules, I felt properly robbed. Apart from that, it was fucking ace. Really helped me plod through a shed load of shite work. James, feedback on that?
I don't remember what he's referring to.
When you looked up where the bonfires were,
Yeah.
and do you know what? That's sorry, just as a reminder, not that it was on the top of my, mind
No.
at the time. But what I will say about that, it added drama to the pod. Okay, so I was angry, but also lovely bit of content.
Good content,
And also,
yeah.
third point on that, James definitely lied. He definitely cheated more than 2 or 3 times that he admitted to.
100%.
Definitely.
100%.
Definitely.
Because once you've broken that seal, that
yeah, oh, totally. Yeah,
that's
that
like David
man
at E3 last year.
definitely cheated more than that. Go on.
Number 2, I have also had some good luck with an arcade machine keymaster. I was in a small caravan park in Scotland 2 years ago, and in the small arcade, I put £1 into said keymaster machine on an Xbox One black controller. It had been in the machine so long, some of the colour on the box have faded away. I still have it sealed. Thanks for the great entertainment. Keep up the great work. Well,
Why wouldn't you
Simmer,
unseal
should
that?
do. Yeah, I mean, like what could have happened to you is what David said could have happened to me, whereby you open the box and there's no controller in there. I
That's a point.
assume there is.
Well, maybe
controller
that's
in
why. Maybe that's why he wants to keep it short, right? It's Schrodinger's
there. It's
controller.
Schrodinger's Xbox
It's
One
just
pad.
never.
It's like
I probably made that
when
joke last time.
Yeah,
it's
but good
it's
gag.
like when it's like why I play the lottery. I don't play the lottery because I'm thinking I'm going to win. It just allows me to pretend for the
I
week.
just imagine that
So
you
if you
might.
never
Yeah,
open
yeah.
that box, you've always got that controller. So it's all good. Keep it locked away. Keep it locked away.
It's good to meet or hear from a fellow Keymaster legend, though. So thank you for the message.
Odd thing to
Because
say.
Because
That's weird.
I
Bit weird.
am Game Master. Michael, I don't know who it is. A Michael. I watched a Twitch stream of the recording of your latest pod, and I have to say I'm disgusted with the way you treated James. He was the only one who actually played something interesting this week. If given a chance, despite not playing a lot, I'm sure he could have given a good summary of his time so far. Instead, there were constant laughs and sniggers at phrases being taken out of context. I'm sure the listeners would like to hear more about what is potentially the best VR game on the PSVR 2. Steady, Michael. And I hope James is giving a fair chance this week, just like everyone else gets. This is obviously, James, referring to your incredible kind of discussion about Synapse last week. Have you got more this week?
You talk about it this week?
I haven't played it this week, so
Right, okay.
no.
Amazing. Incredible.
Listen, Michael,
Really
you're
mugged
going to
Michael
have
off
to
there.
trust us a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to ask you something, James. I've got a theory about why that segment last week went south, right?
I know exactly why it went south. Go on.
Okay. Are you okay with me being honest? We've always been open and honest about things.
Go on.
Think about the real reason why it went south. The real reason. Do you want to talk about that real reason?
Go on, go ahead. I'm
Okay,
very curious
right.
as to what your theory is.
Okay, you ready, guys? Because we're going to do
go
this.
for it.
Let's go.
Did you pay for that game or did you get a code?
I did not pay for that game, no.
No, you got a code, right?
Yeah.
Right? Which meant that you only spoke about it because you felt bad that you got given a code and you hadn't spoken about it on the show, correct?
No, that's not true.
It is true, isn't it?
It's not true.
You didn't play anywhere near enough to talk about it, and you thought, if I
David,
get this out of the way, I don't have this on my back anymore. It's done then, and I don't have to talk about it. And we destroyed it, and you were frustrated because you knew that you had to put more time into it.
No, you
That's
see,
what
what-
happened.
Okay, if you let me say
Go on.
something here.
Okay.
So the game itself is about, from what I've heard, sort of 3 to 4 hours long. I played it for about an hour, so I played maybe a third to a quarter of the game, which I'd say is not a bad amount to have played a game before being able to say something about it. The trouble was that by the time we got to actually talking about the game, it was nearly 12 o'clock my time, and we'd already gone through so many things, and I was really hot and very bothered. And also, you guys were sitting there and were just waiting for me to say something a little bit wrong. And then as soon as I say something wrong, you're all sitting there just like laughing, like hysterically.
You
Just
said
horrible.
it because
No,
we'd
shut up,
already
no, let me
hand.
finish.
We've
Let me
already
finish.
clocked that you
Let me
didn't have
finish.
anything to say about it.
Let me finish. Let me finish. So the other thing is, right, is that the people that are listening to this can't see what's going on. They can't see the fact that you're all egging each other on. You're all sitting there like laughing and sniggering, you know, like whatever I'm saying. So it
James,
totally
you
put me off.
literally like interrupted other people just laughing at stuff that wasn't even anything to do with the show.
Also,
That
what
was
we
not
say
my
about
fault.
what we say
How
about
is
the
that
show
my
now,
fault?
James?
If I've
James,
got somebody sending me messages that are making me laugh, I can't help that if that happens.
So
if
what you're
it's
saying-
Matt's fault, if anybody, he was the one with the quality joke.
No, James, could I expect you to be able to be a professional and handle it?
Matt, James.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is we haven't got you for the whole show. We've only got you up until 12 o'clock your time, and then you're out.
No,
This is
that's
news,
not-
Dave.
That is not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is
It
that
was.
it's very hot the other week,
Right,
and it
we
was
all
getting
hot.
it was,
Gun in right hand.
Gun in right hand.
and you put me
What's
off
wrong?
by sitting there laughing about everything that I was saying.
You
It's-
had nothing
'cause
about the game. You wanted it off your plate because you
That's not
felt you had
true.
to talk about it. Because
Well, why
you
haven't
got
you?
it
If
for
it was so
free.
good, why haven't you played more of it this week?
Because I've been playing an even better game this week,
Okay.
Sean, in Tears of the Kingdom,
Right
which
on.
I think you would agree is a pretty good game.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's
Well,
just
there you
it
go.
would have been cool for the listeners if there was some follow up from last week. But never
Fancy
mind.
playing Tears of the Kingdom.
Okay, Michael. Well, I'm terribly sorry. It doesn't look like you're going to get what you wanted
Yeah,
for this
we
week.
gave him the time.
And for whoever sent James that code, I apologise that the deal has not been completed. But there you go. That's just
Still
how
on his
James
plate.
rolls.
It's a
You're
very
still on
good
the play,
game.
and aren't you like away most of next week as well?
Yeah, I mean, I'm away for for quite a long time now.
He's off
God,
for
when
a
that-
month after this.
When that Synapse review finally lands, I cannot wait. It's going to be amazing.
It'll be on my Game of the Year list, Sean. You'll see,
Okay.
and then it will get its proper dues at that time. You'll see.
Okay.
What's wrong with the deal? Okay, we don't-
It's
we don't
something
wanna-
in the VR to my game. Right, should we move on?
See, look at it. See,
Look at it.
Go on.
Look at it.
Look at it. Inspector Gary Dutton, CID.
James,
Has
can you just
messaged.
tell me when you're done during recording when you're like, okay, I can't talk about games no more? Can you just let me know at what point during the podcast we can't talk to you about games? Because I need to.
That
It
is
would be
not.
helpful.
It's not fair because look, this is what is ridiculous about this, right? Is if you get to the point at the end of the show where you're consistently last, right? You've had a long, conversation where you've been talking about everything that that's been going on with all the other games and stuff, and then you get to the point where I'm really describing this very badly, where you start to feel a little bit tired, and everybody's a bit on edge as well.
Yeah.
That's why you've got you're all winking at each other and having a good
not
laugh
on edge.
about whatever I'm
We're
saying.
chill as fuck.
We were fucking happy last week. It was
dude.
great.
a chill pill.
Okay, just give me the heads up then when you get a little bit tired. How about if we phrase it like that?
Right now, David, with this line of questioning.
All right. Can we just kick him off the pod then? If he's gonna be useless for the rest of the fucking show.
Outrageous.
Go on. Go on, Matt.
Anyway, Gary Dutton, COD, message. Dear TCGS, I'm writing to formally open a there's probably lots more James feedback actually. I am writing to formally open a criminal investigation against podcast member James Dr. Boomstick Farley.
Fuck off, Gary.
Name of the podcast. Name of the show, didn't we?
Twice did Dr. Farley disrupt the flow of the otherwise excellent podcast last week. Nice work again, lads. You really are doing a professional job. In the first instance, he claimed he was still laughing at Matt's bad joke. The rest of the podcast crew accepted this as an explanation, but something smelled fishy to me. Later in the podcast, during a discussion about Arcade Club, I think it's Arcade Paradise? Yeah.
Yes, Gary's got that wrong.
Yeah, good
Gary.
listening,
Club
Gary.
is a place in Bury and Leeds and other places around the UK we can play arcade games for one price. Don't worry about it. There was a second claim where James laughed because
Sorry,
of
if
a
you just
callback.
taken advertising money,
That was
man. What the
weird.
fuck
Well, he
was
was
that
like-
bit?
They owe us 500 quid now.
No, I pocketed that, Sean. Don't worry about that. There was a second. Anyway,
Yeti.
later in the podcast, during a discussion about Arcade Paradise, there's a second claim where James laughed because of a callback joke Matt had messaged him. No wonder you couldn't hear the movie. This was surely a second lie, as it had no bearing on the discussion at hand. That's not true, Gary. It was a perfectly timed gag.
Why was it? I
Neither
don't-
explanations hold water, and I think James Farley should be pressed on these matters as he has deliberately misled the members of the podcast, and a full investigation is required. Yours, Inspector Gary Dutton, CID, the UK's #1 Gary, James Farley.
I mean, the thing is, it'd be very easy to prove this anyway that I did because I've got if we check the timestamps of when that was, I can find the message that Matt sent me, and then
Have you
we'll know
got the
that
timestamps
was.
on the show.
Of course not as we're recording, but there is one there somewhere.
We'll wait.
It's great. It's good radio, this.
Yeah, I know. Anyway,
We've got loads of stuff about Pebble beaches. Come on, we need to move on.
Sorry, let's move on.
Yeah, I forgot about that fucking conversation.
Gary, all I can say is that we take every message very seriously, and we will be potentially
from this
launching an
one-
internal inquiry about this.
Every now and then, I sit back and think, "Fucking hell! Imagine this is your first time listening."
That must be the worst.
We
Yeah, I
will
know.
get to the games, but
Yeah,
spoiler,
about 45
it's the
minutes.
worst bit of the show.
It's like when you get all the people that big up what is it, Backpage Pod. They can't do
those
it without
idiots.
fucking referencing how much they hate us. Fucking kills me. You see it, they go, "Oh, I really love that show." They don't talk bollocks about their lives for the first 10 minutes. They don't go over old ground for the first 20 minutes. Boring, making each other laugh. Shut up. Just don't listen to us. Don't fucking slam the door on the way out, you knobhead. Go on. Sorry, where you at?
I'm not sure what that means. Yeah, okay. SMW.
Really welcoming in the new listeners. It's
Yes,
good stuff.
we really are. Welcome. If it's your first episode, by the way, message us and tell us what the hell happened. SNW, last week you guys suggested that Sega wouldn't really fill any gaps in Microsoft's portfolio. Microsoft have openly stated they see PC and mobile as big growth areas for them. Sega have a big portfolio on PC. Football Manager is still a massive seller and is the kind of game that works really well on cloud too. The Total War series is a huge seller, and recently Sega have expanded into 4X games with Humankind as well. Microsoft currently hire Relic from Sega to work on their Age of Empire games and have hired Creative Assembly in the past to work on their Halo Wars games. RTF's devs are rare now, so owning them will be very useful. Microsoft also lack first-party family games. Sonic is bigger. Oh god, I'm so bad tonight. Sonic is bigger than it has been for a long time.
We should
thanks to
say
the
Matt's
movies.
got COVID, so he's actually
Oh,
doing
right,
incredibly well. I would
I
say.
forgot about that.
I did.
Yeah, my brain is working about 50%, if that. Sonic is bigger than it has been for a long time thanks to the movies, and the new game is moving to co-op will be good for Game Pass as well, as co-op games tend to work really well on there. There's Monkey Ball 2 and Sega now own Angry Birds as well, which gives them further mobile presence and another kid-friendly franchise. Finally, a big complaint about from the Xbox community has been a lack of Japanese games. Buying Sega will give Xbox franchises like Bayonetta, Persona, Like a Dragon, the new Jet Set Radio, etc. A lot of these are coming to Xbox already, but you would assume that at significant cost to Microsoft getting these on Game Pass.
Okay.
There's a PS about Pebble Beaches.
bit
I'll
Most
go
important,
for
most important bit.
PS, sure might be wrong about Pebble Beaches, but there are loads of man-made beaches around the world and millions of tons of sand being moved around every year for restructuring beaches, creating commercial spaces and helping with sea defence, etc. So logistically, creating a pebbled beach isn't that crazy.
Thank you.
I fucking love our
SMW.
feedback.
Tell you
The,
what, not
the
one of
Sega
not
stuff
one of
was
the
fine,
funniest-
but that bit at the end was really
Yeah,
good.
really
I thought.
banged at the end.
not one of the funniest messages we've received, is it?
No, but it's
About
a
that,
very
it's actual
valid.
hard facts from Stu.
Yeah, valid correction. I think on the Sega stuff. I genuinely forget like how big Sega's portfolio is. I forget like all the PC stuff. I am still intrigued as to what like them buying Rovio is about, because Rovio have not had like a hit for a long. I mean, I'm sure they're doing all right. Like obviously, Angry Birds is massive. But that's kind of it,
Is it?
right? I don't think they've really followed that up with anything as seismic as Angry Birds was.
Angry Birds 2, Angry Birds in Space. Remember that?
No,
Remember that one?
I don't,
You
I
don't
don't
remember Angry Birds in Space?
No.
Where were you, Sean, when that was dropping? We're all playing that.
Don't know. Playing.
Go on.
No,
Play what?
I've got
Play
nothing.
Rolando. That was also
Yeah, exactly.
Rolando was great. That was
Yeah,
Rolando
I fucking
was
love
great.
Rolando.
And it's nothing like Loco Roco.
Officially.
I mean, presumably they're going to have Rovio making like decent games based off Sega properties, right? But it's just, yeah, I don't know.
I
Yeah.
still don't understand the point of this though. Why do you want Xbox to buy Sega? Why? Like all these games are already
that we don't
coming
have
out on
to pay
Xbox
for
anyway.
Sega games.
The Stu's message just highlighted that. Like, it would reduce ongoing payments, and there's a lot of big franchise and IPs that they own that they could bring to the platform.
Yeah, but I don't think
But
anyone
they're
wants
already
it.
coming on the platform. They're already on Xbox. Why do I have to care? Like, if
Well, no, because like
I
they
think-
own all the IPs, they can then develop the ones they feel are best rather than
Yeah,
just like.
see,
yeah,
that,
they've been-
that's the
Microsoft's
advantage,
been really
right?
good at that so far. Yeah.
Right? No, I get you. I get what you're saying, but that's the only advantage with that stuff. I think if Microsoft did own Sega, they'd be more likely to bring back some of the older games for Game Pass on a push on their service, from making Dreamcast games playable on their Xbox Live service, Game Pass service, or actually bringing out new games in the series. I think that's more likely to happen. But I'm kind of with you, James, now after the news this week, and we'll go into it later. Starting to get a little bit twitchy about how many people that Microsoft are buying up. But this isn't going to happen, right? They're not buying Sega. So.
I would say pretty categorically this is never going to happen. Honestly, I
Yeah.
would. It's I
Never.
can't say
That's
it.
a
No,
big word, James. Never.
It's never going to happen because it's also a
Sounds
Japanese
like a
company,
bet.
and it's a Japanese company. Which
I can't have two
brings
tattoos,
into
Sean.
other things.
Oh shit! Yeah, go on. I forgot about that last week. Go on.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do. I mean, we'll come into this in the news, but I do wonder where the next acquisition will come from.
I don't
'Cause
think they can.
This has got to be
can
it
they?
for a while, surely.
Well, no, I think they probably can because the argument is they're buying one of the biggest people now. So if they're like, oh, yeah, we'll spend $2 billion on these guys, that's like, yeah, whatever. There's no one's even signing contracts at that point. Like, whatever, just do it. Just give us some cash. 69 billion is a little bit different to like buying someone for like. I mean, when they bought Bethesda, I'm sure there was lots of regulatory stuff they had to go through, but it
Actually, I
felt
don't
like
think
that
there
just
was.
one and done.
This is the thing. Like, yeah, I think like
Bethesda were in trouble and wanted to be sold anyway, and they.
yeah, they're already looking.
We're gonna
for,
go
uh,
into this later.
it
Let's
is
not.
Yeah,
let's
sorry,
not
yeah,
start.
yeah,
Now.
Yes,
We'll jump on
Yeah,
it.
we've got
oh,
more
wow,
Pebble
we've got
stuff.
some more-
Let's go.
Got some more Pebble Beach feedback. John Foles or Foles. I'm gonna say Foles.
Fouls.
Or
Fouls.
Fouls,
John Fouls. Pebbles on the Beach. As the author of, hang on, no, okay,
No, go on. It's fine.
okay.
He's worried he said a
Pebbles on
rude
the
name.
Beach. No, it wasn't a name. I was like, there's lots of anyway. Look,
You
we'll
thought it was
get
going to
into
be
it.
saucy. It's
Pebbles
not,
on the
I don't
Beach.
think.
As the author of The French Lieutenant's Woman and other novels, I lived in Lyme Regis from 1965 until my death, and I was also the curator of the Lyme Regis Museum from 1978 to 1988.
I've
I
never
can
been
shed
more
some
honoured to
light
get a
on
message.
Sean's Pebble Beach story. Lyme Regis is one of the many places that have imported foreign sand, French in our case, so that punters hang around for longer and spend more money. Citation needed.
No,
okay.
no citation. Then he's given a link. No citation needed. That is the
Well,
citation.
yeah, but I'm not going to read that link out, Sean.
No, it's very long. To be fair.
Put it in the
I
show
can do,
notes.
though.
Matt. Put it in the show notes.
It
Yeah,
won't be.
but I mean, people will come in and go, actually, Sean is sort of right because of this, and then they say something that's completely different to what Sean said in the first place, which was that they covered Brighton Beach in Pebbles to stop people loitering.
I mean, that isn't quite what I said.
Wasn't it?
No.
That was
But
a gist,
we
though,
don't have to
wasn't
get into it. It's fine. We can just...
Okay,
I've been supported by some very
No,
clever
you
and
haven't.
funny members of the community,
You
and I'm
haven't.
happy
Funny.
with that. I'm
No.
happy with that. Oh, come
Go
on.
on.
Writing in pretending to be a dead author is pretty fucking good.
No, that's funny. I'm just saying they're not supporting you when they talk about something completely different. Go on.
They're just saying that in a way,
No, they're not.
I'm right.
I think
No.
they might be
In a
taking
way.
piss, Sean.
In a way, I'm correct. It's fine.
Right.
Okay.
Oh my god. Okay, there's more. There's so much Pebble Beach content on this episode.
So yeah, we don't have to read this one if you don't want. It's quite a lot.
Okay, I'll read it because I've started. Will the Potter, hello boys, long-term listener here from New England here. While listening to the episode Avon Lads, I remember hearing a listener verbally and emotionally abuse Sean about his theories behind why there are pebbles on some beaches, and I felt compelled to say something. There's a process called beach nourishment, where sediments are moved to the beaches to counteract erosion. I only know of this because it was done at a beach I frequented as a child in New Jersey, so he's not totally wrong. At the beach I frequented, the new added sediments were very pebbly and full of seashells too. This may not be why there are pebbly beaches over there,
Different though.
but Sean's
completely
theory
different.
may not be as far off as previously thought.
It's not completely different,
far off.
Like,
right?
that
Because
doesn't help.
he's not saying I'm right. He's saying I'm not completely wrong, right? And that's good enough for me. And
Okay,
I'll
but it's
take
not good
it.
enough for anyone else, Sean. But if you want to take that, mate, you take it.
I
It's
will.
all
I will
good.
take it.
Right. Did you read the last bit?
Also, is a money belt just a fanny pack? I get how the name can be a bit problematic over there.
No.
It's ve-
I've always
it's not-
wondered.
Does anyone? No, I don't think problematic is the word. Fanny pack is just hilarious to me. And it's,
Right, yeah,
guess it's
but,
use
but
the word
yeah,
fanny.
but we've got bum bag. Do you
Yeah,
know what I
the
mean?
bum
That's
bags.
got to be even more
Yeah, it's true.
hilarious to everyone else.
fanny pack's
But-
a bit
but
more to the point, though, right? It's a
I
bit-
was thinking, right? So, and this is probably the most obvious thing in the world to everyone, but I was just, when I read this, I thought, oh yeah, why are they called fanny packs and bum bags? Because both mean bums, but you wear it the other way round.
yeah,
And
no
I
one actually
just
wears it at the back,
assume
right?
They're designed to be worn with the bit at the back,
And no one
but
does
people
that.
just kept getting stuff
Stuff
nicked
nicked.
from them. So they turned it around. Or was it like the cap where they turned it around to look cool? Was that, what was it? Was it
Hey,
to...
make any
sometimes
sense.
I have
Why
to keep
would
the
you-
sun off my neck. I'm very sensitive.
Yep.
Sometimes I got to turn that cap round. I hate doing it because I know I can't pull it off. I know everyone's looking at me like,
Why,
"What
does
are
it get
you
tight?
doing?"
My God,
hell,
that was a good joke, Sean. James,
No,
what were you,
that wasn't
what are
Dave.
you confused about, mate?
Well, no, because with the bunny bags, the bum
bunny
bags,
bag.
Bunny
There you
bags.
Wait a
the bunny
minute,
bags.
with the bum bags / fanny packs.
Getting tired. I'm
He's
just
knackered
getting
already.
tired again.
Look, David, it's 7:15 in the PM. I'm fucked.
Go on, bunny bags, go on.
So with the bum bags / fanny packs, right?
Yeah.
Why would you wear them on your arse though? Because if you want to get stuff out, but you're
Gotta
gonna have
swing
to
it round.
You have to keep swinging
swing-
it round.
You
Well, because
swing
it looks
round,
really
but
fucking cool when you do that. So
Yeah,
A,
it kind of
it's
gets in
why.
the way as
probably
well,
more
doesn't it?
comfortable, right? It's probably more comfortable because you haven't got your keys and your wallets banging against your balls throughout,
yeah.
throughout the
got
Plus,
day.
bang
depending on the
against your arse
size of your
instead.
ass, it's like a shelf for it to
Yeah, but
sit
your
on.
ass is
Do you know what I
just
mean?
meat, isn't it? It's mainly just meat.
Just meat.
Bristle.
Bristle. Mine's more sort of
Fucking
Yeah.
let's move on.
awful, really.
Wait, but they're called bum bags. That's the point, James. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I know. I get that, but it just wearing them on your bum doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Or on your fanny.
Okay. There's the height of fashion. James Farley with his
I'm just
opinions
stating
there.
an obvious fact, you know.
No, I'm with James. Also, to answer Will's question, money belt is not just a fanny pack, because a money belt
No.
is like an actual belt that has like a secret zip on the inside, and you
zip
can
on it.
put a tenner in it for emergencies.
or drugs.
Yeah.
Next.
Or a condom.
Wow, we really are covering all bases, aren't we?
You never know.
You never know.
No, you got to be
Stay
prepared.
safe.
Fucking
Yeah.
hell. Go on.
Chris W. Hi guys, I just wanted to say how much fun it was hearing Matt's poor excuses for why his team won the Laser Quest during last week's show. I mean, if that's Freudian slip, I appreciate it, Chris. I'm one that Dad's mentioned, and I was in Sean's team. My son was in Matt's. So it's been doubly fun, as I also got to laud the victory over my boy. Keep up the
Oh,
good
that's
work,
brilliant.
and it was a pleasure to meet you all.
That is brilliant, Chris. Never forget you won that tournament.
Yep.
You were the winner, and your son was not. And never just find creative ways of reminding him constantly. You know, open a birthday present, Christmas present, and it's a picture of you with a trophy or something.
I was going to
Have
say
a
like
laugh.
a space on top of the fireplace where there's nothing there, and he's like, "Yeah, that's where your trophy would have gone if you'd won the Laser Quest, son."
Let's have
Keep
order,
up, boy.
because I talked to Chris W. Jr. and we were good pals actually during combat.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Yeah, so
you know, 'cause you do-
so close that you just remember his dad's name. Is that it?
No, because that's what we called. It was like, hey, you're Chris W. Jr. He was like, yeah, that's my name because my dad's Chris W. We were very
Just
close.
call me Junior. Just call me
We were
Junior.
very, very close, David. And you know,
He also
and
said, "I
when-
really want to win this to impress my dad. It's really important to me. Matt, please guide us to victory."
And so
was like,
Matt
Chris-
went, "Don't worry about it. I'm cheating. I'm laying on the ground with my
I've got
ghillie
this
suit
suit."
over
No,
the sensors."
I said, Chris, how can you fucking see me? I'm wearing a ghillie suit, mate.
I'm not here.
Go on.
Good times. Picky Pete has messaged. That's Picky Pete.
Picky
Morning, lads. Finally getting
picky,
up to date on
picky.
last week's show. Just a heads up on any potential Gotti chat. Arcade Paradise released an Xbox in around August, September last year. I bought it and played it then. That's sad. That is
I did think it
sad.
was interesting that Dave said several times that, like, as far as I'm concerned, it's just come out.
Yeah.
I did-
Yeah.
No,
I
but then,
was
well,
absolutely
it's
shocked.
moot either way, right? Because as per our Gotti rules, such as they are, it's still valid, right? None of us knew of the game last year, so I wouldn't.
Right. So it's
Well,
technically
yeah.
still valid, but you've
Yeah,
got
yeah.
to get it through
I did actually, Sean.
the rounds or whatever. Sorry.
I heard, I knew- I
Sorry,
heard about
Matt's
this game
just-
last year.
Matt's just
Right,
lying.
are we
It's
are we
fine.
saying that you can choose anything as long as we've never heard of it,
Yeah.
and it can be
Well,
the
basically,
game
yeah,
of
as
the
long
year?
as-
No,
if it-
even if you've heard of it, you can choose whatever you want,
can-
but you're going to struggle to get it past.
Yeah, if
us.
you can
Yeah,
ask
yeah,
you
you've still
the
got to
case,
argue
you
the
can.
case for it. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to argue the case for it. Matt, sorry, you knew this come out last year.
Yeah, I heard a lot about this last year. Yeah.
He's
You didn't.
talking
So you
shit.
didn't say anything during.
I
the
just
recording
just
last-
wanted to let
No?
you have the floor.
Bottled it.
But
Bottled
I'm
it.
just-
No,
guess
I
what
was
I'm
actually
saying is,
shocked.
I knew it was a last year game, and it won't be involved in Gotti this year. I don't think.
I was okay. Let's see. I was absolutely gutted when I found out it come out last year. Because I mean, we'll talk about it later. But seriously, if I'd have played this last year, it would have probably been my game of the year. And I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. I'm fucking fully in with that video game. When I found out that it launched on consoles last year as well, firstly I was like, why the fuck have I not played this? And secondly, I was just thinking, oh god, last year it would have been fucking up there. It would have been up there. But there you go. All right.
Push Button Joe has messaged, and I've got a couple more tweet feedback, which is unlike us, but it's probably relevant.
Hold on a minute. Go
Far
on.
be it from me to say you can play a game wrong, but Matt has clearly been playing Tears of the Kingdom wrong. You want to know the best way to play it? Pick it up for a few hours every couple of days, with maybe half an hour squeeze in between. Spot something on the horizon, go there, build a contraption.
And then it
and
sort
do
of
some other
falls
stuff.
apart. I left that as it was when I pasted it in because there's a bit of context coming up.
Okay. It's clear. Okay, right. Okay, yeah. So then after it said build a contraption. Come on. Anyway, it's clearly game of the year, and I enjoy hearing it all. Try and find a reason to criticize it every week. Apologies for the half-written feedback. I've recently broken my arm, and I'm looping on painkillers. Well, I apologise, Joe, for the arm breaking. Let's follow up
Did you
some
do
more
it?
feedback.
Did you break his fucking arm?
Look, if I get some feedback like this, Sean, what I'm saying is protect your arms.
Better watch out.
At least he said
Matthew-
sorry, I suppose. That's valid in court, that is. That's said sorry.
I'd like
so
to say
not illegal.
that was not a threat, and I love the work of Push Button Joe.
I love
We've
it when
got
he
some
push
tweets
button.
about this as well, and loads of stuff in Discord, but I haven't got all day. Matthew Moyer, is it just me, or does anyone else think that Zelda Tears of the Kingdom segments are just weird? Obviously on our show. And I'm not talking about Matt Murray. 95 hours in and only 7 hearts. I also find it strange you would just pick a task, complete it 100% and ignore the rest. Feels very mechanical. Adam Ash. Several hours later, and I'm still
Matt,
haven't
you
recovered
better
from...
have something good after reading all this out. All I'm saying is that you better have something fun to come back with. Go on.
Oh, I did have something, yeah. Several hours later, this is from... this is from Adam Ash on Twitter. Several hours later, and I still haven't recovered from 90 hours of Zelda with only 7 hearts and skipping the shrines. Sorry, Matt, you've been playing it wrong. If you want to leave us feedback, submit it to tcgs.co/dear TCGS.
Is that it?
I'm playing it the way I want to do it, right? So I'll be yours.
Are you drunk?
He
You
might
drunk,
be.
Matt?
The
Maybe.
COVID, it's rotting his mind.
I got a lot of that. Like, okay, let's go to like Matthew Moyes one about Fire Strange. You would pick a task, complete it, then move on. Like, what's wrong with that? Some people play things differently.
Right.
perfectly
But
valid.
everyone
I think
I've
the
spoken
point,
to is about
like-
this, right?
Okay, go on.
Everyone I've spoken to is about this. They go, yeah, you play Zelda the way you want to play it, and that's the beauty of the game. Like, it feels completely open. You can go and do what you want. And then I go, 95 hours, 7 hearts. They go, no, that's fucked. What the fuck are you talking about? He goes up to shrines and then just walks away from them. What? Sorry, what? Yeah. He finds a shrine and walks away. That's what he does.
I've got
And
an
then
update this week though.
Go on.
Got an
Yeah.
update on Zelda. No, we'll wait for what you've been playing. But I've got
Oh my
an
God.
update for you. Oh,
Oh,
mama.
fucking hell. More Zelda chat.
Shall I, Dave, shall I stick that T-shirt on our shop? I'm not asking Max, he'll say no.
I mean, please, yeah,
What,
for a
what,
limited
what?
time. We're
Designed a
thinking about
t-shirt.
selling a Matt Murray 95
So what
hours,
t-shirt?
7 hearts t-shirt.
Oh no, you should. Yeah, I'll buy one then. Get on there.
All right, I'll sort that out.
Get
Right,
on there,
keep an
Sean.
eye on our Twitter feed for that. James, it's the news, but I did. We haven't mentioned yet, and we do need to mention at some point, and probably now's not the right time because we're already nearly 40 minutes into the show. We're not even at the news. That you are appearing in an indie film soon. Do you know what? Have we just forgotten that that's happening? What's the
Yeah.
latest?
But nothing's been said, has it? I mean, I haven't checked the Kickstarter, to be fair. But
So for those of you that don't watch our video content on Patreon, we could probably talk about it now because it's been over a month. But for your consideration, where we all brought ideas for Kickstarters that we had to back, James bought an independent film but didn't look at what the tiers were for you know. So we looked it up, and one of them was you could pay £100 to be in the film. So we all agreed to pay £100 for James Farley to be in the film, not of our money, out of your money for supporting the show.
Out of the kitty. It's
So-
a valid business expense.
James Farley is going to be in a short film. It's a horror film.
James Reginald Farley. That's how.
Right,
I
okay,
yeah,
that's
stage
how he
name.
wants to be credited.
Yeah.
So the latest we've heard is that they're filming in August, but we don't know when James is up for filming and what part he's going to be yet. But apparently it's going to be a speaking role.
James, have you received an email from?
I've received absolutely nothing from them, so I'm a bit
you
worried.
checked
this
your
is,
spam?
You know, yeah, there's nothing there.
Oh
it's-
no, they want me there tomorrow.
The other problem I've got is the fact that I'm going to be away. Like, for
Well,
quite a
then we
while.
need to
So,
get in
you know.
touch with them, don't
need
we?
to sort
We
it out.
need to get in
Yeah.
touch. Maybe we'll contact them, see if they want to come on. See if they come on the bonus show.
Oh my gosh.
Come on. No,
Oh,
James.
but what if they don't get the vibe though? It might be weird.
Yeah.
um,
Because this is the thing, like this is not like us
Yeah,
doing
it's
this. This
tough,
was
isn't
not
it?
intended as a way of like, you know, I'm interested in what this is going to have.
yeah, we're not taking the piss. We're genuinely not
Absolutely
taking the piss.
Absolutely
We're
not, yeah.
absolutely not taking the piss. We are bang up for it. Yeah, no, we'll be fine. We'll be fine, Sean. We're not taking the piss. The joke is on James because I don't think he's going to be the greatest actor of all time, especially
know
if the
that?
shooting is like past your bedtime.
How do you know that? I might be brilliant. You don't know that.
Okay. Well, can we see some of it on the show, please?
See it every week, baby.
No, we don't. No, we don't. So yeah, that's happening. That's happening, and we haven't spoken about the tattoos that you've both committed to getting. I don't know if you've spoken to your other halves about that yet.
I've not spoken to Chen about
Probably
it
gonna
yet.
save
no.
that for a bonus show. Bring them on.
Right, okay, fine,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
okay. That's enough of our bullshit. Let's get to the news. Let's talk about video games. People are already angry at us for banging on about bollocks. Let's
Not
go.
angry, they've just skipped everything we've just said.
That's very true. And then gone on to talk about Backpage Pod, going, those guys are shit. That's why I love Backpage.
Imagine
I love
skipping
Backpage
feedback.
too, mate. I love Backpage too. But I don't need to put down other podcasts when I say I like it. Go on. Go on.
I like Backpage too, but I'd actually like to know what Matthew Castle has for dinner sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
Just saying.
Go on, James.
It's
Hipsters.
been, I'll tell you, it's been a big old week for news this week. There's a whole ton of stuff that's happened, and it's the nightmare scenario of the Microsoft-Activision deal stuff. And we've kind of talked around this for a long time. We've avoided covering it every week because it's really tedious.
It is.
But there has been a development this week, and the main.
This is the perfect week for it, surely, though.
Hopefully,
episode
we have to talk
360.
about this week. This feels like the end, right? This
Episode
feels almost
360.
the end.
Surely.
Hey,
Oh God, yeah.
The stars were aligned.
yeah.
The episode 360 was the one where we got the big update, so I think it worked out.
yeah. Because the stars are aligned, and they thought, oh, we'll reference the console that come out 3 generations ago,
Yeah.
Matt. Yeah, you're
That's
absolutely
still
right
an Xbox console, David.
there. Okay, all right. Struggled to get that sentence out, James.
It's hard to see
He's
much.
poorly. Leave him alone.
My brain is fucked. Let's move on. To
So anyway, the FTC tried to block the deal from going through, quickly, and so there was a court case.
Quick, as in, well, they're allowed to do it slowly, just not.
No, because it's still got to go potentially to another trial. Has got
Right.
to happen.
And they've got
but-
that deadline coming up, haven't they? That they have to pay Activision $3 billion if it doesn't go through by.
Yes, it's for the 18th
Some
of
point.
July actually, which would be after
right,
the
so
time
tomorrow.
this has come out. So
it's tomorrow as we record, so
Yeah.
surely that's not going to happen.
Well, I don't know. And so, so what happened was the FTC filed a preliminary injunction against the deal to try and get it stopped until after that date. But then that's failed. And so it's Judge Jacqueline Scott Corley has sort of struck it down, and this is what she said. She said, Microsoft's acquisition of Activision has been described as the largest in tech history. It deserves scrutiny. That scrutiny has paid off. Microsoft has committed in writing, in public, and in court to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation for 10 years on parity with Xbox. It made an agreement with Nintendo to bring Call of Duty to Switch, and it entered several agreements for the first time bring Activision content to several cloud gaming services. This court's responsibility in this case is narrow. It is to decide if, notwithstanding these current circumstances, the merger should be halted, perhaps even terminated, pending resolution of the FTC administrative action. For the reasons explained, the court finds the FTC has not shown a likelihood it will prevail on its claim this particular vertical merger in this specific industry may substantially lessen competition. To the contrary, the record evidence points to a more consumer access to Call of Duty and other Activision content. The motion for a preliminary injunction is therefore denied. So, the preliminary injunction was denied, but then the
Hard
FTC...
word to say, isn't it?
It is a bit irritating.
Yeah,
Preliminary
I've never liked
injunction.
preliminary.
Preliminary
Yeah.
injunction. Everyone else try it. Preliminary injunction. Go on, keep doing
Yeah,
it.
do it in your car now.
Preliminary
or
injunction.
Just on the bus. Just say
Preliminary
preliminary
injunction.
injunction. Go on.
Stare whoever sat next to you in the face and say preliminary injunction.
Preliminary injunction.
Whisper it into your other half's ear in bed. No, not like that though. Go on.
So-
Preliminary injunction.
The FTC then appealed this decision, but that's already been denied, so this is pretty much over. And then also the other day, Microsoft and Sony have now entered into a binding agreement to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation after the acquisition. So Phil Spencer announced this the other day, saying that they'd signed this, and he said, "We look forward to a future where players globally have more choice to play their favourite games." He's really nice. Then it
another
says,
guy.
but this only applies to Call of Duty, not any other Activision Blizzard games. So it's just for Call of Duty.
Yeah, so
Meanwhile-
cut to them rebranding it to, Duty of Cool, and then that's now exclusive. Clever, very clever.
Meanwhile, the UK, so the CMA has responded and has said that the merger decision deadline has been extended by another 6 weeks, and apparently Microsoft are now considering a whole bunch of sort of measures to try and get it
So
through to the CMA.
look, I'm thick and I don't know much about this stuff, right? When it gets to this level of technical detail, uh, the CMA, I thought, did they announce that they were going to recommend it to not go ahead?
No, they've just blocked it and said
No,
it
yeah,
can't
the
go
CMA
ahead.
then what
blocked
they,
it,
they're
but now
saying-
they've
so what's
realised.
the deadline
Now
then
they've
that they're
Because there's an
talking about?
appeal.
Yeah.
There's going to be an appeal by Microsoft.
Right, and so Microsoft, have they filed that appeal against the CMA
Yes.
yet?
Yeah,
Right, they
and
have.
they've been given more time now for it to be discussed.
Right, okay, because they're fucking bottling it. Is that?
I was going to say, basically, the
feeling you're
CMA
getting?
have realised that nobody else is bothered,
Problem. Yeah.
and now they're like, "Oh, hang on, maybe we do look a bit silly."
So now they need
Yeah.
they need an extra 6 weeks now to figure out how they're going to climb down. I think
Yeah,
over this,
without
which
looking
is
completely toothless. I mean,
Yes.
and to be clear to anyone listening, this isn't me saying like, "Yeah, this is absolutely fine and it should go ahead." Yeah, not a huge fan of monopolies as a rule. But I don't know, I think I'm just done with hearing about this. Like, I don't
That's
even
the problem, though, isn't
like I've
it?
said
I
like
mean,
the other week. I was like, I'm not even like, oh yeah, but think of all the Activision games I'd get on Game Pass because I don't really play any of them.
yeah.
I'm absolutely ambivalent.
So, from an outsider, from someone that doesn't know the technical details of it, it really does look like this is all going ahead now because I think the major thing that happened was Microsoft and Sony entering an agreement over Call of Duty literally, 24 hours after this announcement?
Yeah.
So, obviously, that was clearly worked up before the announcement.
Yeah.
And they were saying once they announce this, that's activated, blah, 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 blah. You've got the CMA who seem to be backing down now after the tweets that they put out saying we will never back down over this. It seems like that maybe they will, even if it is them that's in control of that. I don't actually know. But yeah, it looks like after a really long, horrid battle between everyone, where everyone comes out looking bad, it looks like Microsoft are going to end up owning Activision Blizzard anyway. And really, as you say, Sean, you're like, well, okay, but actually, that's pretty bad, I guess, isn't it? It's just Microsoft are just buying everyone up, and is that a good thing? I don't know. It's weird, and you do wonder what the future is going to look like once this acquisition goes through, because let's not forget, Microsoft have got a lot to do to try and turn the tide, and I think Game Pass has had a bit of a stumble over the past couple of years. And I'm not saying they're in a very good position to turn that round for sure. You know, they've got a good subscriber base. They've got enough consoles out there. They're going to introduce more ways of getting onto Game Pass where you do not require a full console. I think they are in a good position to turn this around, but it's when and how are the two questions that I'm asking at this point.
It's also the fact that like, they're going to be owning like so much now, like in terms of like developers and in terms of studios and all this sort of stuff, from this acquisition. And I'm just thinking like a lot of people are saying, "Oh, great, we're going to get all of Activision's like back catalog on like Game Pass, or Tenchu's coming back and stuff like that." And it's like, I can't see that happening, honestly, because if you look at Activision now, it's basically been set up as a Call of Duty studios. They're all making Call of Duty games and stuff.
Yeah, because even some of the other studios they own, like Raven and stuff, just got turned into Call of Duty map studios.
And even like the team that made, the Tony Hawk's 1 and 2 remake, they then just got moved over to WoW stuff. So.
Yeah.
And if you look at what Microsoft has produced over the last since Game Pass, if you look at like during that period, how many of those things have they sort of like resurrected and brought back? That's been like
I don't know how fair that is. It's still, with Rare, I think they properly cocked it up because they had games there that they could have done that with. They didn't. That's not to say that they wouldn't do for this. The idea of them bringing after Tony Hawk's 1 and 2 come out, that brilliant remake a couple of years ago, everyone got pissed off that Tony Hawk's 3 and 4 weren't coming out. They could do that And I think that's more likely to happen now that Microsoft have bought them, acquired them.
100%.
It depends. It depends what approach they take with these studios, right? Because again, I'm near the end now of the Double Fine stuff, so I'm after the point of where they get bought out by Microsoft. But then maybe this is the arsehole inside me saying this, and the corporate side of me saying this, but they went in there going, we're going to buy these studios and we're going to let them do what they want. And even Double Fine, you look at that and go, oh, that's not the right approach at all, because they were pushing and pushing and pushing towards this game, and then they got bought out and they were like, let's just start again, bunch of stuff, start again, because their view, and I'm not having them go at them as a studio. Their view is we want to make the best game possible, right? But when you've got an endless pit of money with no deadlines, you are going to take forever to deliver that, And
but a lot of people say, oh, I hope Microsoft don't go in and change the culture or ruin this, or direct them, and just just buy them and let them breathe, which is what we saw with Double Fine. And then we've seen, I'm sure, in recent months where like teams have been bought and there's been no kind of Microsoft handling at all, and like that's why projects have slipped or quality isn't where it needs to be. So
that's exactly my point.
It is tough.
Exactly
it needs to be a bit of both, or depending on the studio. I mean, you would have thought actually Double Fine would be a studio whereby you can say, look, you've done it for like 20 years, whatever it is. Here's some extra money, resource, time, but you go and do what you do because we appreciate the games, the creativity, the things you've done. Whereas other
that's
games,
the thing
other
is because
studios
Double
might require
Fine's
more hand holding.
Yeah, Double Fine's sort of an outlier, isn't it? Because that is a studio that I'm happy for them to be self-indulgent and just fuck around. Do you know what I mean? Whereas like most other devs, that's not necessarily the case. But yeah, you would think at least like, okay, we're not going to interfere with your culture. We're not going to tell you how to make games, but can we just agree on like some, a bit of a roadmap when you're going to actually release stuff? I think that would be fair, right?
You can give all the money, but still say here's a roadmap, here's a project plan, here's deadlines, here's milestones, but. With the money to maybe bring more resources in to make sure you hit them deadlines.
Again, it's really important to emphasise that we don't have a fucking clue what we're talking about. We don't know what's going on inside these studios, and we don't know how much that changes things.
There is one thing we do know, though.
Go on.
Is that Activision will almost certainly be a better place with Bobby Kotick gone.
There is that.
Yeah.
And it's. I mean, we would hope that with Microsoft taking over, at least the culture there may improve.
You would hope so.
That would be cool.
You would hope so.
Yeah,
that's not to say that it's going to be perfect, because what are the
not
chances of it being perfect? It's probably pretty slim, right? But yes, that is probably going to be better. But I think let's see what happens over the next few years. It's crazy. There's no Call of Duty this year, is there? They've said they're not doing it this year. So
is there not?
Oh, really?
I don't think so. I think that there might be an update to the Warzone, but I don't think there's an actual Call of Duty
I
this
thought
year.
they were doing Modern Warfare 3. I don't know why that was.
It's funny though, isn't it? Because if there was one
right.
this year, I think that would be too soon for Microsoft to really capitalise on it.
Yeah.
Whereas by the time one comes out next year, they will have had a year of like.
Yeah, but they might not actually own them this year, right? This could then you get into the discussions about the deal itself. Which I'm pretty sure.
I think it's. Well, I was listening to so GamesIndustry.biz did one of their microcasts about this, and they like put it out today, and they're like, yeah, this might like immediately be the most out of date thing we ever put out, because my understanding is once the CMA stuff is cleared, that's pretty much it.
Right. Okay.
The CMA thing's been delayed now to August, so.
Okay.
But then that because I also listened to that, Sean, and that's where they were also saying like, but then the question for Microsoft now is, do they just go ahead and do it now without the CMA approval, and then sort of deal with the problems later? They said, I mean, the other thing that could happen, they said, with this is that the deal could go ahead, and the FTC could still try and do something later on, where they can just say, you've got to divest yourself actually of this.
But they lost the appeal, so the FTC can still do more stuff then.
Yeah, they can do it not to sort of unpick the entire deal, but they could go back and say, okay, you've got to divest yourself of King or whatever. You've got to do that would never happen. But you know what I mean? Like they can still do something. Try and do some things, but the likelihood of that being successful is very low because of the fact that they lost this one.
Yeah.
James, it does appear that you are right, and that Modern Warfare 3 does appear to be coming out this year, but it seems to be all leaks from, I don't think it's officially been announced yet, so could be wrong. Don't know. All right. Okay. Let's get off of this.
Well, next bit of Xbox news is that Games with Gold is ending, and it's being replaced with Game Pass Core. So
Right.
this is starting from the 14th of September, and Microsoft are saying that this is the evolution of Xbox Live Gold. And so basically, none of the prices.
Evolution in price.
Well, no, that's the thing. None of the prices are changing actually for
Oh,
this.
really?
And what it is that Game
That's a
Pass
shame.
Core, instead of having like the games for gold, couple of games a month kind of thing, is just going to have like this sort of collection of 25 games that you get with it like every month, and that will apparently grow over time and change. Do you want to know what? I'm not going to read out what all the games are because there's a whole bunch of them, but yeah, I mean there's some good ones on there. You've got like let's have a look. Okay, like Forza Horizon 4, Gears 5. I think
Descenders.
yes, that's true. Yeah, that's on there. Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Inside. Yeah, there's a couple of pretty.
There's
good
games
on there.
that are of a higher quality than the games with gold games that they've put out over the past
Exactly,
2
yeah.
to
Yeah.
3 years,
That's,
which have been
very true.
shite, and no one even looks at them anymore, even
Mhm.
when they're announced.
It's funny, the games with gold stuff. There's definitely been a few, like over the last sort of year, where I've occasionally noticed and been like, oh yeah, it's I've been meaning to play that, and then I've downloaded, but I couldn't tell you what a single one of them was.
Right.
So clearly not made that big an impact. So yeah, this is probably better, isn't it?
I mean,
Yes.
it's what they wanted, isn't it? Basically, because it is it's just moving the whole thing. The service that they're selling is Game Pass. That's it,
Yeah.
and that's a lot cleaner, I think, for consumers. To look
Yeah.
at that and just be like, this is what they are.
but they're not though, is it? There's still 4 tiers.
There's
So it's
4
not
tiers,
as
but
clean. They're not just selling Game Pass. They're selling Core, Game Pass Ultimate, and PC.
No. They're all Game Pass.
yeah,
Right. But what I'm saying is that it's not as clear cut as James was saying. It's still 4 different options.
yeah, and also, I mean, the one that's a bit confusing is you get like Core, which gives you like online console multiplayer and these 25 games and like that stuff. And then if you pay £1 extra, you get console, but then that doesn't include online multiplayer and it just includes the Game Pass library
Yeah.
instead, which is the same as it always has been. It's just that they've
Yeah,
changed the name.
it
but
feels
it's a
like
bit-
they're keeping those 2 tiers around just so it doesn't look as expensive to play online on Xbox. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah.
And then you
it's a
still need to
strange one.
pay, like if you want both of those, you still have to pay for Ultimate. Like that's the only choice. And it's not clear either what's happening with the cloud gaming thing, which I assume is probably just still remaining with Ultimate.
Yeah,
Right.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, 4 tiers. I mean, we joked about all the PlayStation various tiers, and someone's like, I don't know what tiers they are. It's like premium, extra. Like they've kind of done the same thing. They've like seen them and like, let's have our own 4 complicated stuff. I mean,
well, they already had that, right? They already had this amount of tiers.
they did,
I
but
don't-
they
so I
could
don't
have
think it's a
they
change
could
there.
have simplified it. If anything, I don't know. Just,
Yeah, I think the problem with the PlayStation one is that it's one of those situations where, like, for example, if I don't know, this is a random, I can't think of a direct comparison, but where you're signing up for something and they have platinum, diamond,
yeah.
gold tiers or whatever, and you're like, well, okay, so platinum is above gold, but where's diamond in that? And then sapphire. Sapphire, is that better than gold or like because what are the phrases they use? Premium and plus and what are the
there's extra, plus extra, and no, no.
that's what I'm
I-
saying. So I think theirs is just the way they word it, right? That's what makes it confusing. I think the only confusion you might get is the core and what's the base Game Pass one?
Console.
Core and console seem a little bit sort of like okay.
Okay, well, yeah. So PS
Um,
Plus it's essential, extra, and premium. So there's only 3
Do you know
tiers.
what I mean? It's like, so what's better, extra or premium? I guess premium, but it's
Premium,
still
yeah, I
like,
think.
But then
Yeah,
you could
no, I
argue
think
that
that makes sense.
extra is
Essential,
more
extra.
extra than premium.
Yeah, it's less about which is better.
Yeah.
It's more like which one am I on, what's in
Yeah,
each one. But yeah,
'cause-
essential,
'cause,
extra,
like-
and premium. You can
but it-
tell a tier system there.
Yeah, but
It's
it's
like-
weird, like, because in one sense, yeah, calling these ones like, console and PC is in a way more descriptive or more direct, but then you'd be forgiven for buying a console, looking at that and going, well, I've got a console, I'll buy the console one, and assuming that includes online gaming, right?
But there's,
Yeah.
Which it
exactly,
doesn't.
there's also not an increase in sort of grades of quality of like what you get really here either. Because
Yeah.
no,
if you-
it's not a clear tier. Like you get all of that plus
Mhm.
this, you get
Mm.
all of that plus this,
Mm.
and it is, as you say, all directing you to get the ultimate again,
Yeah.
which I think most gamers, most gamers,
Which
do.
is
I don't
still
know.
like, I mean, I think I'm probably more into Game Pass still these days than the rest of you guys. I still think it's a bargain, I don't know how
I've
you
been
lot are
playing a
feeling
Game
about.
Pass game for 2 hours for 20 hours over the past 2 weeks, so I guess I'm still alright with it. But like but what's wild is that if we were to buy Harry a console, if we were to buy Harry an Xbox, he wouldn't need any of these tiers to play the games that he plays because all the games he plays are free to play games that include online play anyway. But we've decided this. I don't know if I told you. We decided this week that we are not getting Harry an Xbox yet because I overheard him talking to a stranger online.
Yeah, you said. You
sort
didn't
of
say on the show, so I don't know if you want to
well,
tell the
yeah, I
story,
suppose I
maybe.
could kind of mention it. I was sitting next to him and I heard a deeper voice over the headphones, and I said to him, "You know, who's this? Oh, he's a friend of such and such." And I went, "Okay, but how does your friend know this person? Are they met on Fortnite?" So anyway, so I told him to mute the mic, and I put my headphones on, and this kid is like swearing, and he's doing this, and he's got like a deeper voice. You know, I would have said he sounded about 14. Now Harry's 9, so that's like a big gap at that age.
Yep.
So I said, "Look, Harry, mate, has he said anything? What sort of stuff does he say?" And Harry just said he keeps calling Kevin a pussy, and I was like, "Whoa, mate, okay, right."
You've said enough.
I said you cannot say that word to start with, right?
No.
I mean, I was trying to stop laughing because it's funny hearing a 9-year-old just casually come out with that. He didn't know it was a rude word, so I had to explain to him, and he said, "Yeah," and he says way worse things than that. Basically, him and all his mates got busted. I feel terrible, really, but Joe told the parents, and some of them were banned for a week. And I sort of sat him down and said, "Look, I'm not angry with you. You've made a mistake, and here's why it's wrong." I explained why it was wrong, and I said, "You did a internet safety course at school, and you were told do not talk to people that you don't know. And what have you done?" "Oh, but I do sort of know him because we met him up." But this is the difference. You don't actually know him, and it's hard for me as well. It's like, well, how do you know James Farley? Well, we met on Xbox Live, but that's not the point.
It's different. We didn't know any better then.
It is
Now look at the mess we're in.
Yeah, we
kind
can't
of-
stop this now.
It's
Funny though, isn't it? Because like you're saying, like some of the parents like ban their kids for a week and stuff. But it's one of those where if you come down too hard on them, they're probably just less likely to be open with you next time something like this
That's the
happens,
thing, yeah.
right?
I think so, maybe. Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough line to draw, isn't it? But anyway, that's how we dealt with it, and that's why he won't be getting an Xbox in his room, and that's why we won't have to worry about what level of Game Pass he's going to be getting. So that was a bit of a wild tangent. Sorry. Personal life seeping into the podcast.
It's weird because like this Eurogamer headline is Xbox Games of Gold is ending, but when I saw the first bit of news, I was all like Xbox Live is going.
Yeah,
and
Xbox
it's all
Live is
like,
ending.
But
Yeah,
this
yeah,
makes
yeah.
more sense, I guess, to to say it's actually Games of Gold that's changing and not Live, although Live is changing as a result.
Yeah, because what Xbox Live does is still happening, whereas Games with Gold is being substantially changed into something else.
I don't like the names, and I still think it's too much. Like, but whatever. It's not going to affect me because I'll get Ultimate because I'm an idiot.
They should just call the tiers 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
Brackets 4 is the best.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, and best. Or
Please
best.
buy this. We
not as
need
good.
to pay for Activision Blizzard. This one.
Diamond, Sapphire, Topaz, Topaz, or whatever it is. They're all
Topaz.
different. Yeah, call them them.
Okay, so anyway, Xbox is also rolling out a new reporting feature for in-game chats.
Oh,
So
there you go.
Well, how can you use this?
There you go, Harry.
yeah, exactly.
I'm a bit
So
late now, innit?
this lets people capture 60-second clips and then report inappropriate voice activity on any multiplayer stuff, from their console. And so then what happens is if you clip stuff.
I'm going to do this to Matt every single time we play together. Just constantly go reporting, fuck him.
Well, just so someone at Microsoft has to listen to 60 seconds
Yeah.
of Matt just chatting.
Yeah.
Doing
Sound
that
the
little grunting
hilarious
he does
gags.
when he plays games. When he goes, when he's getting into a game, you make these noises, don't you, mate?
Yeah.
thing?
Also
Cool,
do.
loads
yeah.
of that.
There's a lot of like clicking and tapping and clapping.
Yeah. Go on.
So if you clip anything, it stays on your console for 24 hours. Then it's erased if you don't submit it as like a report. And then once you report it, you'll get notified as to whether Xbox took any action related to it. So I think this is
Imagine
great.
having
This is a
that
great idea,
job,
though.
fucking going through all of that.
That's.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a good thing.
Oh yeah,
I think it's going to be abused.
Mhm.
I'll be interested to see how they work out the legitimate claims from the false ones, and I bet there's all
yeah.
sorts
Because
of
I
shit.
wonder how easy it would be to just take something out of context.
Wow,
Right,
this is it, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
I
I'm
know.
assuming that are these manually checked, or is this all done through
AI.
text?
It
Must
could
be
voice-
manual, right? AI would
I
be
mean-
fucking hopeless. Mind you, it doesn't stop people using it for other stuff, but
It's
Yeah, I would
I don't
hope
think it
it's
will be
real
manual.
people.
I think there'll be a first layer which does listen for like slurs, words
Yeah.
they've already blocked, and that'll
Yeah.
go to
Might
a
be
different
right, yeah.
channel. And then
Mm.
there'll be another ones which do have to maybe go through a manual process. But
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, in other
Mhm.
slightly sadder news, as alluded to earlier in the show, Larry Hryb is departing Microsoft after 22 years. So he's
How
been
old
there.
is he?
I have no idea, but he's been there since 2001, and because apparently originally he was the editor in chief at MSM Music, and then he
Blimey.
joined the Xbox division a bit later.
wow,
65 years of age. That's not a bad age to retire, is it? Yeah, you wouldn't have believed it because the amount of times they dressed him as a fucking teenager and wheeled him out on stage. You know what I mean? I ain't being funny. It really does look. You know, I'm happy for Larry Hryb. Larry.
Do we have to call? You have to call him by his civilian name now.
we do
Yeah,
now.
That's how it
Yeah.
works. Okay.
Larry
The
Hryb.
Major.
He's been decommissioned.
I'm happy for the major. I never quite got it. I
No,
don't
me
know
neither.
if I was, but it really did feel like there was a boardroom, and they were saying, "Well, we need a community person, but we don't want to trust anyone else. We need a mouthpiece. Get Twister, get the spinny thing for the Twister, and whoever the arrow points at, get him a backwards cap." And a t-shirt and some baggy jeans and stick them out there and say, "Hey, I'm the major man. That's my Xbox gamer tag guy."
And this is it. And it's not his fault, right? Like it's
Well,
just
no,
it
his
was
will
it was
now.
based on a poorer understanding of how to do that sort of thing
That's
back then.
the
right?
thing.
Like,
It
yeah.
was a
Yeah, but
terrible
come on.
understanding of
Well,
what
I
works
don't
right
think
in
that's
marketing.
fair,
You see, the early 2000s before the 360 came out, like the show that he was doing was pretty good. I thought.
I
Like,
listened to the pod. I definitely listened to
Yeah.
the show. That's one of my first ones I ever listened to.
But
Yeah.
you two love all that corporate propaganda.
No, but when
it
it like because at that time there wasn't like the same outlet of like information that we've got now in terms of like knowing literally everything about anything
but
that's
it was
coming out.
controlled diarrhea straight from the Xbox arsehole. That's
No,
what
back
it
in those
was. It
days, we
wasn't.
just thought, oh, dude, it's like I do podcasting on behalf of
Yeah,
Microsoft.
exactly.
It's
It was
cool,
like
man.
podcasting was new. It was all like really exciting at that
Yeah,
time.
Major
okay.
Nelson wasn't 65. It was awesome.
But I just think when I think Major Nelson, I think of that unboxing video that he did where he was just like, "Well, I've taken it out of the box. What else do you want?" And it was like, "No, that's not the point.
Yeah,
the point
but,
is
you
not
know.
that you
See,
just
I can
take it out
respect
of a
that.
box, Major."
I can respect that.
And then what was it? The other thing is, do you remember that Angry Joe interview after the Xbox One was announced?
No.
And this is where I did genuinely feel sorry for him, right?
Yeah.
So, Major Nelson was he was so Don Matrick come out and did his shit, and then they stuck Major Nelson in front of everyone, right? And said,
Yeah.
"If you got any questions about the Xbox One,
was good.
ask Major Nelson." Right?
Specifically, yeah.
He's the community guy, he'll answer all your questions. And there was one where clearly he'd done several hours of interviews and he rocked up on this guy called Angry Joe, who, if you don't know, I'm not a fan, is a YouTuber, where he's just like, "Hey, I'm telling the truth about video games." So
Oh, yeah.
he
One of
rocks
them.
up to him and he goes, "Oh, how you doing? You all right?" A little bit of banter. And then Angry Joe was like, "This is my moment. I can confront him about all my fears about the Xbox One." And Major Nelson followed the fucking line. "Why don't you get rid of Kinect? Because it is part of the architecture. You literally can't control the Xbox without the Kinect." He went on and he backed up each and every point. This is why we want TV. This is why it's this price. This is why Kinect is essential. And I think it was either the very next day or the day after they announced, you can buy it without Kinect. Right, and you just got to look at that and imagine telling Major Nelson that. I've been all over the internet because Angry Joe has had a go at me,
Yep.
and now, the next day I've got that news comes
Completely
out,
roll
and
back.
everything
Yeah.
I've said is just bollocks. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah, it's very
that's
kind
the
of
only
thick of
time
it,
I felt really bad
it?
for him. But yeah, I mean, I never got it, but he was in that role for 22 years, or he was with Microsoft for 22 years. It's not an easy thing to hold down a job like that. And as much as I wasn't a fan, I would never send him abuse. And I can't imagine how much that abuse that guy must have received on a daily basis. And that is, all right, he did all right out of it. And you might point out that he's a very wealthy man, and all right, fair enough. But Jesus, that does not.
We don't know
the
he's a
amount
wealthy
of
man.
abuse he should have got.
Sure, he's
No?
doing all right.
I'm sure
Yeah,
he is,
I'm
but we
pretty
don't
sure
know
he's done
that.
okay out of this.
Mate, he's earned a lot of money over the years, I'd have thought. I mean,
I
I'm pretty.
assume so, but
David,
What's your point?
oh, we can't say he's well. We don't know what's going on at home. We don't know that stuff.
No, okay. He may or may not be a wealthy man at this point. I think it's
There you go.
irrelevant considering how much money he's probably taken out of Microsoft. Would you argue
Legally,
that maybe
legally taken out of Microsoft.
Yeah, legally, David. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
you
a.
arguing that maybe he's actually on just minimum wage, Matt? Is that what
No,
you're
I'm not
getting
saying
for in
that.
this
I'm just like,
conversation?
you can't say someone's wealthy. We don't know.
I mean, he's an executive at
Weird
Microsoft.
fucking
Exactly.
weird place to stick your flag.
Yeah,
And
I'm
put
just saying,
hills
don't
in
slag
there,
on
Matt.
Major.
not a major anymore. Not a major.
Good
He's
point.
David,
stripped
stripped
of his rank.
David,
What is it
would
now?
you
No,
like
is it
to
like
hear...
the presidency? You're always a major.
Yeah, he's always
even
a
when you're not.
major.
He's always major. Sorry, James.
Would you like to hear what Jeff Keighley had to say about this?
Why is
Is this
he
a joke?
talking? He's really going for the role, isn't he? Go on.
Thanks for all you have done over all these decades for our industry. Still fondly remembering hosting many Xbox launches with you. So there you go. It's nice.
Okay.
I
All
know.
right, Jeff.
Wasn't
No one
needed.
asked, mate.
Okay. Next story is that Fable's narrative lead has left Playground Games. So this is Anna McGill, and she's
for
moved on
Christ's
from
sake.
Playground. And she's worked on other stuff like Control and Dishonored: Death of the Outsider. And this is the quote. She said, "Friends, I have news. In August, I'm stepping away from my role as narrative lead on Fable. I've had several wonderful years scribbling away in my fairy tale cottage, but the time feels right for new challenges. Working on Fable was a dream come true for me, and it's wrenching to leave it behind. But Playground has assembled a heroically talented team, so I know it's in good hands. I'm excited for what's coming next for them and for me." So she posted this on Twitter, but then later she came back and said, "Some folks are being silly, so let me be clear. I reached a good stopping point to jump off the project, so I did. And I decided to take a small break before jumping into my next gig. That's it. I have nothing but fondness and respect for Playground and my colleagues there."
Oh, okay. Well, that sounds way better than the headline, doesn't it? I mean,
Yes.
that legitimately sounds like, oh no, I'm kind of done here. My work is
Yeah.
kind of done here, and then and I'm sure it's not. The project is still going ahead, and there's still work to be done. But if you're done, or you feel like your work is done there, that you've got every right to move on without it being warning signs for a complete. I mean, don't get me wrong, Fable's had some warning signs already, but the trailer that we saw looked great. Stylistically looked great. The other month, so maybe going into panic mode is not the right way.
This
to
is
do
it, isn't it?
things
Yeah,
for
like
this.
you hear someone's leaving, and it's like, "Whoa, what's going on there?" I don't know. Probably nothing. Probably just someone's got their own circumstances to deal with, or they just want to move on, or whatever. It's not.
Yeah,
necessarily
but to come
indicative
out
of
with a
anything.
statement like that, you very rarely hear someone high up leaving a company and coming out with that sort of stuff. So that's a good sign, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the last story, but it's a really short one. It's that, I mean, EA Sports FC has got a release date now, which is the 29th of September, which is around the same time as it always launches.
Oh God.
There's going to be improved representation for women's football because women will join men on the pitch for Ultimate Team, which has not happened before. But the other big difference is that the Switch version is going to be using the Frostbite engine, the same as the other platforms, and that's like the first time this has happened. So they won't be releasing, presumably, this won't be another like legacy edition that releasing on Switch. Presumably,
Actual
because
new football game.
yeah, I mean I'm still very skeptical that this is going to actually mean anything like meaningful on the Switch. But maybe
Yeah,
we'll see.
I agree. I'm skeptical about it. It's good to hear that women's games are represented more. I've never understood why that's not been the case in like I get it in career mode because that's how the real world football stuff is, but Ultimate Team you've got like Maradona playing for
I was going to say the whole point is it's a fantasy, right? It's,
exactly.
like,
I
do
mean,
whatever you want.
I think it was last season let female football players play in pro club teams, which again, So it makes total sense. I just watched the trailers and I thought, I don't know about these characters, man. Like
Yeah.
they don't like. Harlan looks weird. Doesn't Harlan
Harlan
look
doesn't
weird?
quite look like real Harlan. There's a
It's
bit in
like
the trailer where like
Fortnite
it
character.
switches between like real Harlan and like game Harlan. It's like even that doesn't look one to one. But
That's
Just wait till
bizarre,
they
isn't
see it on the Switch version.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
like
Switch one. I saw the Switch
like,
trailer. It
like
doesn't-
Celeste.
the
Yeah,
Switch trailer doesn't look so good.
I cannot wait to try it.
Yeah,
though.
I'm well
I
excited
cannot
for
wait
this.
to try it because nearly 1,000 hours into last year's one, I'll probably be playing this relentlessly as well.
I mean, yeah, like I'm excited by proxy. Obviously, I will not play it, but I get like what a sort of weird, potentially exciting, potentially disastrous moment this is for like obviously a major annual release.
Prediction. First month, we'll all be raving about it, thinking they've completely fixed it and it's absolutely brilliant now. And then after that, all the shit comes out, bubbles to the top, and we go, fuck this game, we're never going to play it again. And we go on to put another 800 hours into the fucker. That's
I'd
that's
make
where
the
I think,
prediction that it's going to be pretty much the same as last
I was
Yeah,
going to
year.
say because
yeah,
there's
that's
every
my
chance they'll just play it
estimate.
safe, right, and not.
Yeah, first
Probably
year
as well,
it'll
but-
be basically identical to what they would ordinarily done, and then maybe they're working on bigger differences to 25 or 26.
Yeah.
But
'Cause
it'll
they
be
have
mad
like-
to like go straight in with like square balls.
Yeah.
Say that.
But they did because they basically said, didn't they? Like, well, there's loads of shit we wanted to do and FIFA wouldn't let us. So
Yeah.
potentially
that?
exciting.
They did say
well, not
that,
in
yeah.
so many words, but yeah.
No, they did say that.
Pitch
Almost in
invasions.
so
We're
many
getting
words.
pitch invasions. Fine.
Invasions,
I've always
VAR,
wanted that.
rubbish
Guns.
referees.
More
As a,
guns.
as a Millwall fan, I've always wanted pitch invasions.
It would be
is that
pretty
it?
good if they save that for last day of the season, which is obviously is common. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Last day of the season.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do it. Maybe we could.
That's it. I've got no more news this week. That's it.
Cool. Well, let's get on to what you've been playing. James, what have you been playing this week? Is that all right, mate?
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I've only been playing Tears of the Kingdom because I'm like fully
Oh, for
back on
fuck.
this now, and it's
Okay.
it's
Are you
great,
enjoying it
isn't
now, though?
I really am enjoying it. I mean, I've got
Cool.
can I say I've got the Master Sword. I mean, obviously there's a Master Sword in the game. I've got that, and I've got all the tiers as well. And now I'm just exploring and doing side quests and adventures. The only thing that I'm still
How many
not
arts
digging-
you got? How many arts you got?
I don't know, about 20, I think. Something like that.
Okay,
Yeah,
show off.
Wanker.
The only thing that I'm still not particularly digging, sorry, Sean, is the depths.
Yeah,
I still
depths is
find
shit.
it. I still find it irritating
Not
to
shit.
navigate down there.
It's
just down
fascinating.
there. It's not. What's fascinating about it?
The worst thing is when you're like, you're going around, you're trying to get somewhere. It's like, oh, there's a massive, sort of wall in the way, and then it's like, oh, is this something I can climb? Probably not.
I've got a tip for you there.
I feel like neither of you have grasped how you actually navigate around
I love
there.
the
feel
fact.
like
I love the
that's-
fact that you still bang that drum. Like, no, you're just doing it wrong.
Well, then
we're
why
not,
you
are we?
why are you both like, oh, you just like walk into stuff and then you don't know if you can get? Yeah, you do. You fucking light it up.
Well, yeah,
Like,
exactly.
use
But
your
you have to
seeds.
like keep firing fucking arrows constantly at everything.
No, you don't have to fire arrows. You can just
You
throw
can
them.
drop them and hit them.
Yeah. Or better
we
yet,
played
just
it,
build a
sure.
fucking floating bike and throw a bright bloom seed at that, and
I
then
haven't
just
got
fly
enough
around.
batteries, Sean. It runs
Right,
out
okay.
after about 2 seconds.
Well,
James,
sort that
I'll give
out.
let me give you a tip. Right,
Go
you
on.
can switch what level of your map is in the mini
Mhm.
map on the bottom right hand corner.
Mm.
If you're in the depths and you're in the middle of nowhere in the dark, right, switch it to the overworld map. And
Mhm.
anywhere there's water, that's where there's a cliff that you
Mm.
can't get.
Mhm.
You can't get over.
And equally, if you found like a shrine above ground,
Mhm.
then you know there's going to be a route,
That's
a
where
light,
the
a
seed
light
is
route
underneath,
below
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there
Yeah.
you
My
can
problem
And that
with
works
it-
on top as well, because
My
I've
problem
been
with it
trying
is more
to
that
collect
just-
shrines. Doing it
Oh, it's just full of like enemies I've already beaten, like, and there wasn't anything there that I thought there's gonna be a whole city with new race of characters and all that sort of stuff.
Mm.
There's not. There's not.
I do wonder if that's, and we've talked about, what do they do next? I'd love to see, like, if
not
the next
more
one,
depths.
more depth.
Depths
No,
again.
like if it, yeah, but like if it was the depths, but it's like, yeah, but like people have settled down there now. Like you lit it all up in the last game, everyone knows it's there. There's like valuable resources and shit. So if it became like, oh yeah, it's like a fucking massive city down there now or whatever. I don't
Tell
think
you
they
what,
would
though.
do that, but it's be cool.
I did the Master Koga quest line. I
Oh,
really
yeah, yeah.
enjoyed that.
How'd you feel about that? I enjoyed it, but then it's like it's all just a bit silly.
Yeah,
and
it was
like,
really silly. That's why I enjoyed it. It's like-
I don't know, I think it's because like in terms of story, like there's no other use of like the sort of Zonai invention stuff, right? Like I thought maybe that would come into play like in the story later on, but it's like nah, that's kind of it. And you don't actually need to build stuff to fight them usually.
No, I never did. I just shot them
No,
with
yeah, you
arrows
just
or whatever.
you don't.
But it was cool. Like I enjoyed that thing in general of like finding those little Yiga clan camps and like basically reading up on like, oh right, they've spent like the last 5 years like settling down here and working stuff out and building stuff. Thought that was really interesting. But
it was like, I mean, I found like a Yiga like camp on the surface as well, and it was great because there was like this little sort of cottage or whatever, and it had like a hole. Did you do the thing where you could like look through the hole with your camera? And they were like, "There's someone outside, I think." And all this, this is really cool.
I do find it weird how like, and sorry, people listening, this is me being negative about the game now. Why are the Yiga clan just like a bit shit?
Because it's funny.
That's comedy, isn't it?
I guess, but I just, like there's the whole thing of like, oh, you can talk to someone and then, it turns out they're a Yiga clan person. Like, but they're not even remotely convincing. Like, you usually can tell.
Yeah.
But like, imagine if
that chicken
they
quest
actually
was genuinely funny. Like, it was.
I
really
don't think I've
good,
done that.
one. You've not done that one where it's like you hear rumors that there's like a talking like a chicken that can tell the future. And then like you, you end up like in this like you have to go up like this like sort of a hill where there's like a like a tree and there's like a chicken sitting there and it's like ask me questions and you start talking to it and then obviously it turns into it is a Yiga thing, just an ambush, but it's just pretty funny.
See, that's good. Clearly, I think I would find it really cool if like you would talk to people and they would like genuinely just mislead you about things or like give you like recipes that don't fucking work or something. You know what I mean?
That's quite cool. I like that.
But I don't know. So not a criticism, just a missed opportunity, maybe.
Yeah, I've also been playing on Zelda. And
any good?
It's so damn addictive, though, isn't it? I mean, that's what I found.
So damn
it's
addictive,
like,
yeah.
Can sit there I mean, I played it so much this weekend.
Addictive.
Yeah.
So addictive. Yeah, Matt, you finished?
Yeah, so following on from last week's show where I said I had 7 hearts and I had
that
loads
bit
of...
you spoke about last week, the bit that you were really struggling with. I did it today. I cannot believe you were struggling. I don't want to be that guy, but it's insane, Matt.
Yeah.
I did that in about 10 seconds.
Which bit was that?
The bit in the tree that
Inside
people
the
don't
deck
go
tree.
over.
I went back and did it after doing loads of shrines and it was easy, yeah, if you got loads of hearts.
Oh, you're supposed to do the shrines. Are you? Is
that
what...
I'd unlocked tons. I just used them as fast travel points. Anyway, I've now since done 75 shrines. So I've got like 23 hearts now.
Wait, hang on. You can't fast travel to those unless you've done them, can you?
No,
yeah,
you don't
can.
have to do them. You can just open. That's why I was using them for.
As long as you've activated
as long as you
it.
access them and open them, then they're fast travel points.
Yeah, they just appear red on your map instead of
Why
blue.
would you want to skip them? They're brilliant.
Well, because I didn't have time at the time,
this.
so I was like, okay, go here, do mission, open that, brilliant. That'll be useful for later. Anyway, it was useful because over the weekend when I was banished this room because Elodie and Jill did not want COVID, I just then smashed out, fuck loads of shrines basically. So on 75 shrines, I've got 23 hearts now. I've done the Master Shield, Master Sword, all that sort of stuff. And
you got the shield. I don't think I ever got the shield.
Yeah, I didn't get the shield. I bet out of spite, Matt. Like every time the option come up, do you want a stamina or do you want a heart? Matt was like heart, fucking heart. Then
no, I knew I only ever wanted. I knew I needed only just 2 stamina rings for something that's happened.
I was going to say he's converted all his stamina into hearts as well. His Link can actually now barely stand, but he can't be killed.
Yeah, I get vertigo just by standing up. Anyway. So no, I've done loads, and I think I'm getting right at the end. But Dave, I messaged you just before this, and you said actually no, there's a little bit more to do before the end of the game.
Yeah, there's like an end of a quest that you need to sort out before you go.
I'm very, very close. But
there's some really good stuff towards the end.
It is fucking bad. And I will say, I mean, I did have a newfound appreciation for the depths. And I kept thinking of Sean the whole time when I was down there. I was like, No, it is. It
I'm
is
thinking of
great.
Sean the whole time.
It was. I was like,
Seeing
you
my
know,
face appearing in the darkness
Yeah.
in front of you.
I don't know.
Going,
There's
"Go
a
on,
mission
Matt.
there.
You're
It's
not
all
supposed-
right."
I think you're exploring it wrong.
There's
TCGS.
there's a section and I was like, this is it's really good, really clever, really enjoyed it. Anyway, I'll probably have it finished by next time I talk to you. But no, good game, and I can play it however I bloody well want. And actually, it was fun, just going through all the shrines. Just like I tell you what, I don't really like the combat ones. I don't know the ones.
Some of them are very
Some
frustrating.
of them are interesting where it forces you to use your powers.
Yeah,
like
there's
the one where they're
one-
chucking bombs at you and then you fling them back. That's pretty good.
Yeah, there's one I tried a couple of times and I'll stop. It's like basically where you obviously have no armor and loads of people trying to kill you, and you start off where you got the two kind of drone like tank things, so you're setting them off and they're killing other people, but then like they're all trying to kill you. And I was like, I got so close so many times, but then like a random bomb or something will kill me. But some of them I've enjoyed and I've done, but yes, I think I've done. Yeah, but there's 150 odd shrines, aren't there? I've done 75 so far, and what I've done is go off a tower every time go off a tower. I like every shrine I see, I mark it on the map, and now I'm getting to the point where I can shoot off the edge of a tower, and I'm like I can't see any, but I've still got like another 70.
Have you got the sensor? Have you fully upgraded your?
Yeah. I've
tablet?
got the fully up. I've got like sensor plus all the other stuff.
Okay.
But I was like, there's still 77 to go, and I'm like, I can't see anything when I'm looking above. So clearly, there's a lot more still to find. But
There's a few up in the sky.
yeah, I've found a few up there, but clearly need to be more
I've
investigating.
done
But
about
no,
110 of them.
Did you
I
get?
think.
Oh,
Have
shit.
you got the glide suit? Because that's pretty good for the sky area.
Very helpful, that.
Yeah.
And looks cool
Is,
as
is that the frog suit? Or is that something different?
No,
No,
it's
there's a glider suit. It's really
Yeah.
good.
Okay, I think I might have one part of that.
It's quite easy to get because you have to get it through doing those challenges where you have to like go through rings to like drop down.
Oh yeah, I've done one or two of them, but I haven't I've got the rubber suit, which was really good, which is handy.
That's what Matt's into.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Is that
It's all
enough
right, isn't it?
Tears of the Kingdom?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Good game. Good game. Very good game.
Briefly before we get on to the game that Sean's excited to talk about this week, Arcade Paradise. I'm still playing that. I'm gutted that I didn't play it last year, as I mentioned, because that is some video game that it's absolutely superb. Like,
And is it still? It's not just addictive. Like it's actually you're still interested, still doing new stuff, or is it?
Yeah, the shift of what what you do shifts, and your focus shifts from time. I described it as a time management game. It does not feel like a time management game anymore because all of those tasks have become either redundant or I've upgraded something to mean that it's not even. You don't even spend your time that way. It's now become a very competent arcade collection with goals within each arcade game that you get the benefit of, the ticking thing. I thought I'd completed it today because it does have an end.
Oh, does it?
And I got to quite a pivotal moment in the game. A very pivotal moment that blew my mind and made me really excited. And then something happened. I think it lets itself down narratively a little bit after that because you're like, oh, right, okay, so it's just back to it then, is it? But, however, that was a great moment, and the stuff that I've been doing since then, it feels like there's loads more stories to discover as well. So I'm so impressed by how well it does everything. Like, I'm so impressed by how well it does everything. Everything from... Okay, let me give a little bit away here, and I think I might actually. I don't know how right I am, but it seems like when you first start a day, you start in the street. There's a bus stop across the road, and you start in the street and you walk into the King Wash is what they call the laundry place, and then you start your tasks. But you can wander up and down the street, and in fact, one of the to-do lists every now and then, it's like, go and have a little wander to the end of the street and clear your head. And I saw a sign up. Now, this might not have always been there. It may have always been there, but it was like luxury apartments being built here soon. And I kind of thought, I don't remember that when I first started. And is the implication that because there's a big emphasis on the laundry place really creates a community, and an arcade wouldn't do that. and it feels like you're batting against that idea constantly while you're playing it. And now the arcade's more popular than the laundry place ever would have been. So, is the local community feeling the effects of that?
Right, is the community
that's
suffering for it? Or
it's really, really cool. I just love that idea. And that may be wrong. I may be overthinking that, but that's where it feels like it's going. But yeah, that game has more to say than it should, really. And every aspect that it tries to do it. I mean, everything's a bit camp. Like no, camp's not the right word, because that would imply that it's bad, but some games deal with
not necessarily.
some games deal with that differently and it works, but here it's a bit like your dad's sort of like, hey, I hate video games, where are you going? And you go, okay, it's a bit, come on, a bit over the top, but it still kind of pulls it off. It pulls off the narrative beats, and I like that game. It's brilliant. So many people have been in touch with me over the past week, and thank you, saying that I tried it and now I can't stop playing it. Our friend Jay said he couldn't play FIFA with us last night because he was going to bed. He was absolutely tired, and by the time we finished FIFA, he was still playing it on our friends list. So it was exposed Jay. But my word, what a game! What a game! Arcade Paradise. It's on Game Pass. Play it now. Sean,
Hello.
Big release. You've been looking forward to this.
Yes.
Before you start talking about it,
Yeah.
a few things that I found interesting. We're talking about Exoprimal and a Capcom shooter that's come out on. It's come straight to Game Pass, but it's out on PlayStation, I believe, and
It is, yeah.
everywhere else. A lot of people go, hold on, the game's been launched and there's no reviews for it. That's not a good sign. And I'd also heard that there was some opinions floating about that it was pretty bad. What's your experience?
Dismiss anyone who talked about it on like the first day, because, and I'm not like, this was a very silly move on Capcom's part. The servers were only turned on like for reviewers like the day before it came out.
Right.
So anyone posting, I mean, obviously plenty of, like, most websites have opted for a first look, review in progress, whatever. There are a couple that were like, here's our definitive review of the game, and very clearly have not understood it properly, because we'll get onto that in a bit. I absolutely adore this, but there are problems. There's some pretty big missteps with it. For those who aren't familiar, this is Capcom's new game as a service, PvPvE, team-based shooter, like third-person shooter, where you're wearing these robot suits and shooting shitloads of dinosaurs. And basically, the way most matches play out is you are racing against another team, right? The story, such as it is, the story's actually okay. I've been surprised how much I've enjoyed following the story, but I'm come to that in a minute. But basically, the story is there's this AI that's pulling. So, like, your team, right? You're on this like plane, and you're on this team of mercenaries, and there's a mechanic and a pilot and whatever. And basically, this AI is like pulling you all in, like your crew from all different dimensions, right? So every other player you play with is you from under. It's a multiverse story, and is essentially running these combat simulations over and over and over again to try and develop better robot suits, right? There's more to it than that, but that's the basic gist of it. So what every match is so you with a team of 5 versus another team of 5, but you're doing PvE stuff, so you're shooting dinosaurs, but you are racing against the other team to try and get an edge on like the final round, which is again still sort of PvE, but then there will be a bit at the end usually where you are fighting against each other. Which initially, like, because I talked about this, there's been a couple of betas for it, and initially, like, didn't get on with it because I was just like, right, so if I'm bad at the game, then the team that's better also just gets an advantage in the final round, and do you know what I mean? It's like it just reinforces, like, oh, well, this team's better, and they have an easier time of it in the final round, right? But just through getting better at it and playing with friends and actually communicating and getting better at the game, that does really mitigate that. Like, it doesn't feel like horrendously unfair like it initially did. I think we were just playing against people who were just way better than us and just having a miserable time. I do think you need to play it with friends though, because the like teamwork is essential. Like played it with randoms and it's fine, but like you can't get upset about losing because it's very likely, right? If it's with people you don't know, you're not communicating. There's too much going on for that to work, right? Like whereas you're playing with friends, you're coordinating, like you're talking about like what classes you all want to play as. There's all different classes, right? They're broken up into like assault, tank, and support, but then within each of those, there's like 3 or 4 different exosuits with like different
Very,
combat
very,
styles or whatever. Sorry?
it's very Overwatch in that regard.
It's very Overwatch. A lot of things about this are very Overwatch.
Yeah, there is.
To the point that it's quite strange at times. Like the fact that like when you can unlock like little like avatar icons, right? And you remember how in the original Overwatch there was like for every character there was an icon that looked like the character, and then there was an icon that was like the character but in like a sort of pop art style, like limited color palette. They've just done that. Like they've just copied that.
It just wholesale ripped it off, yeah.
Yeah, which like whatever, but it's just a bit strange. And yeah, basically, broadly speaking, the matches are incredibly good fun, right? We fucking love it. Like we've been playing it every night since it came out. Like really enjoying like working out the classes together, working out synergies between different characters. Like winning and probably more losing than winning, but like just enjoying it regardless. The problems are so it feels quite stingy in general. Like the monetization is harsh, right? And that's one thing playing it on Game Pass, because I'm like, oh, well, I didn't pay for the game, so who cares? But like you could have paid like what, 50 quid for this on PS5. So to then go in and be like, oh, by the way, like 3 of the characters aren't unlocked straight away. You will unlock them eventually, but you can pay some money if you want to get them now.
Yeah,
and it's
that's
like,
not
well,
good, is it?
why? Because they're not even, like obviously some games like this, like some classes are more complex, more difficult to play than others. But I wouldn't say that the characters that are locked off are more complex particularly. I don't think there's anything about them that like a new person wouldn't enjoy playing as them. So that just feels really arbitrary and stingy, right? There's a battle pass, which again, like fine, but then like if you're not on the premium battle pass track, there's like fuck all on the free one. It's like every 5 levels you might get like a new avatar or a just something really shit. So it's basically like pay up or you're getting nothing.
They're really pushing you towards that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's not uncommon, is it?
It's
It's a shame, but not uncommon.
It is a shame. And yeah, and obviously, and then it's like on the main menu, it's like, oh, buy the like head start pack to like unlock these characters now and stuff. And you're like, come on, man, people have like I'm not naive enough to like this is a very silly game, and it's got me written all over it. It's big robots shooting loads of dinosaurs. It's quite silly. It's got a good sense of humor. It's very self-aware. But I know that you don't get games like this with these sorts of production values without having to be something, like there's commercial realities at play here, right? Like games like this generally lose money and you might not hear from them ever again. And I don't want that to happen to Exoprimal. So I understand they need to make some money off it, but I do think people will be thrown off by how aggressive some of that stuff is, which is a shame, and they should change that.
See, I played it on Friday night.
I was going to say, James, because you haven't put it on your list, but you were on it till like 1 a.m. my time. You were still on it.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, but conversations I've had with him, he actually got about 5 minutes of gameplay in. Sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that was part of the problem because it was quite. It took. So the people I was playing with didn't have like Capcom accounts and stuff. There's the whole thing of having to like link it to the staff signing up and stuff and all that. So that was a whole nightmare trying to get through that. Then eventually, you have to go like the training sequence at the beginning is quite long. Like it's quite long and quite involved.
Yeah, because it ties in a bit of story stuff as well.
Yeah, and this thing is, when I played through that, I mean, it was fine. Yeah, the tutorial section was fine. Like it explained well enough what what you needed to do and how the game worked. But there was a lot of stuff in that, and this is not just Exoprimal. I'm just thinking about this in general nowadays with tutorials. How much of this stuff could be cut nowadays, actually, that you don't need? Whereby there are so many aspects in a lot of games, like where it's like you hold down this button to then like zoom in and shoot and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like I've played these games before. Like everyone,
I know. I
most people have
suppose
played
you've
this
got
before.
to. It's always good practice to imagine it's someone's first game every
I
time.
know, but
right?
then can't there be an option for like, have you ever played video
I
games
have played
before?
a shooter
Yeah,
before.
we've spoken
Yeah.
about that before, haven't we? And
Yeah.
it feels like the way to do that is that. Yeah.
You know, it's
But then
like,
I didn't feel the tutorial did that, did it?
it did. It did it quite a lot at the start.
tutorial
It
was
was
only
yeah,
about
the
2
sort
minutes
of
long.
look at the target and then move forwards to the point on the yeah. so
Then
that
go
stuff.
to this shooting range and like
Yeah.
zoom in and to shoot these things.
See,
And all that. And
I didn't mind it so much because I thought like the dialogue it's not like laugh out loud funny, but there are weird little quips and stuff that I sort of carried me through that tutorial. I mean, bear in mind because of the beaters, I've done that tutorial like 3 times now.
Right.
But, so obviously was quite done with it by the time the full game came out.
It's like
But-
3 minutes long though, isn't it? It's not
No, it's
that
longer
long.
than
Well,
at
no,
all.
because there's like a mission after it, like
Yeah, the
where you
mission
play against
afterwards.
bots and stuff.
Yeah.
so you
Well,
got
because this is the other thing is so it's game as a service, and 100% multiplayer game. They've put a story in, and the way they've tried to do it is interesting, but it sort of trips itself up a bit. Because, well, two main reasons. One, like, it's really interesting because as you play matches, you're unlocking story stuff as you go, right? So what you can do is have an evening playing with your mates, and then like the following morning I booted it up, and it was like, right, now I can catch up on like all these story bits that I've unlocked, right, through just playing, and you can do that in your own time, and that's great. The reason it doesn't quite work is there are some story events that it will just force upon you, even if you're playing with friends.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can finish a match, and then one person will just be like, "Sorry, I've got a cutscene," and you can, and they can skip it and they can watch it later, I guess. But it just puts everyone in this weird situation where you're just like, "Oh, do you want to watch it now? Or do you want to skip it?" But it's just weird, just really incongruous with the fact that like it's like you've built this system where you can just let people pick up the story whenever they want. Why are you like?
So
why
you're
is
saying
this...
don't show cutscenes at all, or force it on everyone?
I'm saying don't show them at all. Yeah, like I say, they've built this whole menu where it's like this cool sort of like conspiracy chart where it's like the central question of like why is this happening to us and how do we get out, and then everything sort of spirals off that, and it's like really nicely done. So why are you then forcing cutscenes on me when you've already built this system? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess
See,
if
also,
it knows
especially-
you're in a party, it could say, "We know
Yeah.
you're in a party. Watch this later in the theater or whatever."
Yeah, exactly.
And especially if you're just starting out with this, it's like, and all this is going on, and you just want to start playing with your friends. Yeah, you just want to like get into this. I've learned the systems now. Now I just want to play. And it's like, so we went like you go through all like the tutorial stuff. Then there's a mission as well. And as I said, all of it's fine. It's completely fine. But then you then get kicked out to like the menu, and then it's like buy this now. Like now you should buy some stuff. And it's
Yep.
like that's like you said, that's a bit. It's not a great way to start, I don't think, for people that have no idea about this kind of game and what this game is and how it's like going to work. It's a bit odd. But
Yeah.
then I mean, we played for like we only played for about half an hour, and then I fell asleep. So, but then again, nothing to do with the quality of the game. It was
Yeah,
the fact that it was
very
2:30 by this
Yeah,
time,
fair
and
dues.
it was
So
like-
Sorry, just quickly. So the other reason the story stuff is weird and doesn't quite work with this type of game is like, so a lot of the early, like I was looking on like Steam, right? People, started leaving Steam reviews and the game had only been out for like 6 hours, and people are going like, "Oh, like it's shit. Like there's not enough variation in dinosaurs. There's only like one level." Is completely incorrect, but it's because so when you join a game, the pool of levels and enemies available to you is dictated by who's like earliest in the story, which is fucking stupid because
Right.
it means it generally it works out okay for me, like
If you're playing
like,
with the same people regularly, yeah,
exactly,
you wouldn't
but
see the
it could
impact
just
of that, would you?
be, and like because there are like a couple of missions with like key story events in them, right? And occasionally you'll load up and it's like, oh fucking hell, someone's got to do the mission with Magnum, who's like this other character. So it's like, right, well, we all know exactly how this is going to play out, right? It's still like a multiplayer match. It still works the same way, but there's like little cutscene bits and stuff, and we're just like, yeah, we did this like 10 hours ago. But it just so happens that someone in the game has reached that point in the story, right? So it's just this really awkward melding of multiplayer stuff and story stuff. And I don't think it quite works. And as I say, the fact that it like gates off content until you've progressed further into it, I don't think that makes sense in a game. Like if like it wouldn't have worked if Overwatch had done that, and it doesn't really work here. However, the game is fucking amazing. Like when you're just in a match, and as I say, like you're communicating with your team, like you're helping each other out. Like I say, the classes are fascinating. Like I'm mainly playing as this one called Murasame, who's like, so he's like a samurai robot, and his whole thing is like, so he's a tank, right? He's like a very like a damage dealing tank, so he can run in, like aggro a load of enemies by swinging his sword around, and then he has this move where basically he like blocks for like 3 seconds. Any damage you take then like charges up your sword, so he's literally like just fucking running into like hordes of enemies, like aggro the lot of them, bring this guard up, and then you just like fucking like jump into the air, like all the enemies like come like rushing up with you, and you're just slashing the fuck out of everything, and it's just so fucking fun. Like, and there's like shitloads of other classes. There's like this one that's like he's like an explosives character, right? And his like ultimate ability is that he basically goes like Human Torch, right? His armor just fucking blows off him, and he's just like made out of fire, and you just like fly towards a fucking T-Rex or a Triceratops or whatever. It's one of those games that I was just like, I feel like a 7-year-old playing this, because it's like, oh, the man sets on fire and he flies into the dinosaur and he blows up, and it's really good, really cool. Like I fucking love it.
So I've played like 3 or 4 rounds of it,
Mm-hmm,
after with friends, and that's the exact thing I get from it. It reminds me of the first time I played Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah,
and I was like, there's so much happening, and my mates sounded the same thing as we were playing through it. I think one of the unique things about this game, the unique feelings about this game, again, like Dynasty Warriors, what was it impressive to me was just how many dinosaurs were rushing at my group, and how each grenade that we threw, it was like it created a bomb of dinosaurs flying off in all directions as you're exploding loads of them or using I think I had the same frustrations with you. It feels like if you fall behind in the race, there's no way of catching up. Like it doesn't seem like there's any roadblocks or anything.
Because there's the Dominators, right, which is where it gives you an item where you can become a dinosaur for a little bit and go and fuck up the other team. Yeah, which I think is intended as a balancing thing, but like both teams get one at some point, right? So it's like, so we'll get so it's like, oh, well, brilliant, we got our Dominator, so now we can like get a bit of an edge, and then you do, and then the enemy team gets theirs, and then they pull it back. Like it's very fun, like being a T-Rex or whatever. But
the first time we had that, it had to be Chet picked it up. We didn't really know what to do, and Chet was like, "I'm the big dinosaur now." Oh my god, I'm fighting them. Oh my god, I've killed them all. This is about it couldn't have happened to a better person in our group, and we were just pissing ourselves, And funnily enough, when we still lost the match, but when they got one, we took it down so quickly that it was like, oh my god, you did not take advantage of this, because I think they just entered it when we all had our specials ready, so we just all activated our specials, focus fire on them or whatever. I don't know if it will have legs. I don't know if it will have legs.
Yeah, this is the worry is because like this isn't the source. I mean, could you argue Street Fighter is a game as a service now? Maybe, but broadly speaking, I think this is kind of new territory for Capcom, right? And it's like, so we don't know if they're going to be a company that will support this kind of thing if it doesn't initially like fly out the gate. Do you know what I mean?
I guess that Monster Hunter World did that.
Monster Hunter
right?
World, is that not games as a service kind of thing?
Oh, that's true. Sorry, World was very game as a service, but then that did really well, like straight away, right? So it totally made sense to support that. Whereas with Exoprimal, I am worried that they'll be like, just fucking it's not happening. But I say the 100%, there is something here worth supporting. Like they just need to sort out the structural stuff. Like I said, the story thing is weird.
That's easier said than done, though, isn't it?
It is. Like the story stuff will always be what it is. I think if they just dial down give people some free shit and make the monetization a bit less fucking aggressive.
But
I think that would make a huge
difference. I've always got confused with that stuff, right? It seems so simple to me that give us all the players to start off with, and then and then people don't like being at a disadvantage
Mm.
with what's on offer when they've bought a game. I've said the same thing with FIFA, right? So the way FIFA Pro Clubs works, you start the game, you're a shit player, you play and play and play, you unlock skill points, and then you build your character up like that, right? But it's just agonizing to get to the point where you're playing, like, you will play the game against fully statted teams and you haven't got a chance. It's fucking bollocks, right? Which I don't think is the same with Exoprimal. But I look at that and say, no, give us all maximum skill points. I can put them into my character and unlock different boots and celebrations and haircuts and do that sort of shit. That's what that's the better way of doing it.
It's
With Exoprimal, give us all the characters, but make them all customizable with unlocks. But that's the stuff that you should be working towards, the cosmetic shit, rather than the stuff that actually affects the game, you know?
Yeah, which is mostly the case. It's just, as you say, it's just the fact that they gate off some of the characters for no discernible reason.
Yeah.
And like I said, I could understand it if they were characters that were like difficult to play as, and you don't want people stumbling into them going, "Oh, this is shit. I don't know what to do." Like, I mean, I should say as well, like it's really refreshing to play a game like this, where say. Like I fancy being like the healer, right? There's one character called. I mean, there's other healers, but he's like the most sort of healing focused one called the Witch Doctor. And I'll join a game and it's like, oh shit, there's 3 Witch Doctors, right? It's like it's not like everyone wants to be the assault characters and no one wants to be support, right? Because that's always been often a problem with Overwatch. Like you're looking at a team, it's like, right, oh, so no one wants to be a fucking healer today, okay? That has not been a problem with this. Like everyone's had favorites that aren't necessarily the assault ones. Like I've joined games where there's 2 or 3 tanks or whatever, and it's really easy to change. Like you can change on the fly, even like mid game. So if your team structure isn't working, like you can say like, right, fuck it, I'll change to this, or someone else wants to change something else. Really easy to do, but it's just really nice that like everyone seems to have favorites. Like of all different stripes, you know.
It's an interesting one. And we're definitely going back to it. I'm looking forward to playing it again.
Cool.
It's again, as I said, is whether it sticks or not, and it takes a lot to get us to commit to a game for a long period of time at this point. You know, to knock the regulars off of their perch.
And as I say, this should not be the case, but I would recommend sticking with it because, I say, more stuff opens up. You start getting more dinosaurs, more levels, different game modes.
And I heard rumours I read a story today, and you probably know this. Well, you definitely know this, but how you're building up towards this final battle where you face off against the other team. Someone turned around and said, "Well, yeah, while we were facing off against the other team, a massive dinosaur entered the arena, and both teams had to turn on that dinosaur. So they weren't fighting each other anymore.
So sometimes it can. Yeah, sometimes it can end with literally the AI will be like, right, you're both brilliant. I think you should fight a T-Rex.
That's great.
There you go.
That's good. That's fun.
That's
really
the
other cool thing
it
does. Like it's nothing really, but because say the plot is that this AI thing is like monitoring you, right, and trying to build better exosuits as a result. And like literally, you'll start a match and it'll say like, oh, in the previous match, like you're an amazing healer, like that was, and does like chat some shit around that. Or if like you were the MVP, it'll like comment on that. So little things like that are quite cool.
Cool.
Yeah, Sean, I watched your video you posted on Twitter, and it basically almost gave me a headache. It was so hectic, like that. 30-second video. I was like, what is even happening? I don't know. I can't.
There are times.
Sean is.
There are times when it is a bit too much. I think it does very well at telegraphing like what is going on, generally speaking. But like it doesn't have that. Like with Overwatch, the thing is like how every character has like such a unique silhouette. So that even if you're looking at just like the outline of them, you can tell which character it is. This, like, not so much. Like, it sometimes does get a bit too hectic, but broadly speaking, I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I did enjoy the character creator.
Oh, sorry, James?
I did enjoy the character creator.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you never see that character, like, because you're always in a robot suit. But
I was like, what character? And no, I created an SBAB, but I've never seen him in the game.
I had incredible hair. And I was really happy with that. It was brilliant.
So that was Exoprimal. That's what we've been playing this week. Let's get on to your questions before we close this one out, because James is tired, baby.
Didn't say anything. Didn't say anything.
Didn't
Didn't
need
need
to.
to.
Didn't need to. That was part of the problem. He didn't say anything.
What the fuck? I've been
Yeah, some warning would be nice, James, actually, if you don't mind.
God.
If you would like to send us a question, go to tcgs.co/dear TCGS. SMW says, has David ever tried a game like Factorio, Dyson Sphere, etc.? I'd never played one of these until a few years ago, and I find them so addictive that they make me ill and I have to uninstall them. To me, they're the ultimate version of the game loop that he seems to like with games like Power Wash Simulator and Arcade Paradise, doing menial tasks to eventually unlock something that does that task for you or makes that task much easier, only to free up time to do a different menial task, with the end goal being to automate every single part of the game. I'm not recommending actually playing one because they're dangerous, but I was intrigued to know if any of you have tried one before, as I know the pod is more console focused usually, and I don't think any of them have made it to console yet.
No, I have not played
No.
one of these games, but yes, that does sound like right up my street. And not only that, when you look over and your son's doing that, and you go, "Oh no, that's just an extension of me." Harry is like fully in clicker games constantly.
Really?
Yeah, I've got 14 billion Prime. What's that mean, Harry? Just have a look. It's just there's a pulsating bottle of Prime in the middle of the screen. He's just hammering the button, and the numbers are going up. I'm like, yeah.
Elodie and I
you.
played one on Roblox a few months ago where it was basically a clicker, but you would there's those there's basically money machines you'll have when it's like 3D flat or whatever apartment. And then the more money you make, you have like different floors. But by then you're making like $1 trillion a second. But the helicopter costs like 14 trillion. Or and we played it for a long time.
That's only 14 seconds of gameplay, then, Matt. Though.
Well, no. I mean, maybe more than that.
That's
Yeah,
really quick.
but I was like, let's play that again because that was fun.
By the time you've said that the helicopter is 14 trillion, you can afford it.
Okay, well, something was a lot of money basically. I was like,
do you know what?
It's bloody brilliant.
Do you know what was fucking good? It's not really what SMW's describing, but the Chibi Robo Park Patrol.
What's that?
Did any of you ever play that? It was the
No.
DS Chibi Robo game, and it was like, yeah, you just like managing this park basically, and like growing flowers and shit. But again, it was one of those where like you start off like doing everything on foot, watering flowers, and then like, and then by the end of the game, you've like got a fucking car that you can just drive around, and you can like change the landscape and like remodel everything how you want. It's just amazing like sort of power curve, but not just in terms of like efficiency. It's great.
Cool.
Do you know, I've never played a clicker. I just never have.
Play what's
You
the
don't play
fucking...
Drug Wars when you're younger.
Yeah,
No.
Drug Wars, or they did a Breaking Bad one.
Yeah.
Can you do a Breaking Bad
Breaking
stream
Bad?
where you dress up as Heisenberg and then do the
Yeah, have a little
clicker?
goatee. And then play
that was
Drug
it.
Wars.
Space Plan. Do Space Plan, James. That's a really good one.
Oh, I remember
What's it
Space
on?
Plan. That was
That's
no,
on your-
that
that's on your
wasn't a
telephone.
traditional clicker though, because that had more going on around it.
Well,
didn't it,
exactly.
Space Plan?
That's why I'm thinking it'd be.
Yeah,
a
but I
good
kind
one
of
to-
want him to do just a very basic
raw
clicker, just to go. What is like? Here's what he'll do. He'll sit down and go, "The fuck is the point in this?" 10 minutes later, he's like, "I can upgrade now." It's those things are wild. I'm interested to see how you react to those, James.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that for the next one when I get back.
Next question.
Dave the Diver says role playing time. Yellow Light of Death on the PS3, Red Ring of Death on the 360. If you were a clerk at EB Games, how would you have dealt with a disgruntled customer facing this problem? Thanks, y'all.
Just
Okay,
redirect
right,
them to Sony or Microsoft.
Yeah. Just go on the website. They'll fix it for free.
Yeah.
Fine.
Grab a towel,
Yeah.
wrap those bad boys out, stick them in the
That doesn't
microwave.
work. I tried that. Didn't work.
Fucking towel trick.
It
Jesus
did work.
Christ.
The towel trick did work, mate.
It didn't work
A
for me. I
bit.
tried it. Trust me, I
A
tried to do
little
it.
bit.
I
On
could
what?
still kill that machine. That machine would not die.
On what?
Huh?
On your Xbox?
On my 360, the HDMI port failed. I was like, tell you what,
Oh.
I've heard a lot about the whole Red Ring of Death. Let's kill it tonight. So I
see,
wrapped
you
in
murdered it on
multiple
purpose.
towels. I put cotton wool cotton wool sticks in the fan. Had on for hours. Would not die.
Right,
That
but-
machine.
Put it in the
Mistake,
oven.
Matt. You
Hold
don't
on,
put the cotton
yeah.
wool buds in the things. You need to get a hairdryer as well, and then start like
I
pointing
might
that
have tried
through
that
the
as well, James. I tried everything.
Hold on. The towel trick fixed the 360. It didn't break it.
I was trying to overheat it. I'm sure.
No, the whole
okay.
point.
thing to do.
No,
The
Matt. The
whole
whole
point
point
was
is the
that-
towel trick was supposed to fix it.
Yeah.
Oh well, man.
All you did was
Only
make your
died.
360 better.
That's why I wouldn't
the
die.
HDMI
I
port
just
probably
want,
started
overheat this
working.
thing to hell.
So hang on, Matt. So you thought the towel trick that everyone was talking about was a surefire way to break your console?
I'm sure.
And that's where, oh, you got to try the towel trick. It's fucking belter.
I thought that'd be overheating the machine, so I tried that. Didn't
Yeah,
work.
the
you're
idea
not
was
wrong.
that you overheat in the machine, wasn't it? There was some glue or something. That was the idea. It was a problem with some glue.
It was supposed to make it reseat.
Or some solder.
stuff,
Yeah,
yeah.
it sort of melted the solder again and might.
There's
make
no
it,
way it would have melted the solder. That's
Yeah.
way too hot.
I don't know.
It would've been
We're in
better.
Pebble Beach territory now. I'm going to shut up.
Yeah, we are.
Did
I
we
love the
all-
fact
did
that
we all-
I
did we
used
all
a trick
suffer
to
from
fix
this,
my
though?
machine and complain why it wasn't broken. Yes, James.
Did we all-
Yeah, I
did we
had
all
a red
have
ring.
this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the red ring on a couple of consoles. Yeah,
Oh, did you? I just got on the one.
but then I got the slim one after that. You know, the little
Oh yeah.
black. Oh, I love that thing. That was so good.
Lovely.
Yeah, that was way better. But yeah, the original Xbox. I mean, you look at the design now; it was cool back in the day. Don't get me wrong. It was
The
like,
360?
"Hey, look at this. Yeah.
No, I
But
like
you
the
look at it
original
now.
360 design. I like it. I
Yes,
think
all
it's
right.
Not
really
now.
good.
It hasn't stood the test of time. I
Yeah,
like the
it's
big
stunning.
on button though. I wish that
Yeah.
went forward more. Big on button, please.
It still
Love all
looks
that.
significantly better than the original launch PS3 though. which
Oh
I
yeah,
think-
God,
I
yeah,
still
that
think
thing looked
that's
like
terrible.
fucking toasted, didn't it? It was
Yeah.
outrageous that thing. Breville Maker. That's go on. Next.
Maria Mendia, we didn't really answer the
I
question.
was going to say,
but
there
what
was
was
no
it?
role playing there.
How would you? Okay,
you've
all right.
dealt
well,
with a
let's-
disgruntled customer. Well, it's like you say. I mean, certainly with the Red Ring of Death, it was all sorted, wasn't it?
Okay, James.
So there's no. I don't know.
Hold on.
There's no like funny interaction to be had there. It's like, yeah,
Hold
you
on.
just need to go on a website and they'll fix it.
Well, let's find out. Clang clang. Hello. Bought
What?
this PS3 from this store, sir, and it's broken already.
Did you buy an extended warranty?
I didn't, but I bought it a month or so ago. I don't know who these guys are laughing in the corner here. Are they members of staff or are they
And the manager, mate.
customers? Because
I'm the
it's
manager.
fucking rude.
Yeah, piss off.
Bought this
As I say,
PS3. It's got the yellow light of death.
First day on the job.
So I've only had it a couple of months.
Okay, then you should get in touch with Sony, sir. They're doing
No, I shouldn't.
doing
My consumer
replacements.
right says that I can return it to the place that I purchased.
head
So-
office. I'll have to check with head office to see if that's
Call
if
head
that's-
office
if we
then.
do that.
yeah,
Call
he's in
head
the
office.
shop now.
AKA Matt Murray. Go on, give. Go on.
So Matt, this guy wants to.
Hello, head office. Hello.
Matt, this guy wants.
Sorry,
Okay, Mr.
sorry,
Murray,
who's
sorry,
this?
sorry, Mr. Murray.
So who is this? I work in head office. You're ringing my. I'm looking at my phone now, so it's coming from a random store. You don't know me.
I'm
You don't
at
know
the
my
redacted
name?
store. I'm at the redacted store. Okay.
Don't
No,
get
no,
his
name.
number.
I can't help you if you don't tell me what store you're calling from.
Croydon.
Yeah, I don't trust you. But okay, calling from Croydon. Yeah, well, what's the issue? You calling from Croydon store? Yeah.
I've got a customer wants a refund or replacement for a PS3 that's yellow ringed. What do I do?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Is it yellow ringed?
Yeah.
For the record, people that are not watching the video of this, Matt Murray is doing the telephone with his finger and thumb, and James just isn't bothering. Go on.
No, I've got one of those headsets on. I've got a headset on for it.
Okay,
What?
yeah, makes
You
sense.
work in the store, mate. You haven't got a headset. Right. Okay. Yellow ring doesn't exist.
Oh,
Who's
sorry,
your manager?
yellow light of death. There you go.
So who's your manager?
Sean.
Can I speak to a manager, please?
Yeah, okay,
Bring
I'll
him
go
on
and get
line.
him. Sean, the head office wants to talk to you. Go on.
What?
Hey.
What? Hang on, wait, hang on. I'll put my hand over the receiver. Sorry, why the head office want to speak to me, James?
I
What's
don't
going
know
on?
why are you doing this all in front of me. This seems really weird. I've just
Sorry.
been standing here watching
James,
this charade go.
why did the head office want to speak to me? What's going on?
Because I was trying to deal with a problem with a customer, and
Me?
then
And
they
you
weren't-
phoned head office. You phoned the CEO instead of just asking me.
You,
It's
you
unbelie-
have on occasion given wrong advice, so I just wanted to go to the top to
Oh.
check.
Sorry,
Unbelievable.
I'm
Right.
head office. I can still hear the conversation
So,
happening.
yeah,
right
no,
now.
I'm putting the hand over. It doesn't do shit, does it? I'm really sorry about this,
Hey,
sir.
you're the
Um,
manager of Croydon. Is that correct?
Not the whole town, just the game shop.
Right, cheek.
No, I wasn't trying to be sassy, sir. I just wasn't sure
That was a bit sassy.
Wasn't
I'm
sure what
head
level
office.
of reality we were
I'm
operating
head
on,
office.
to be honest.
I'm head office. So just,
Your head office.
Sorry about
Um,
this, sir.
first question for me is:
Yeah.
one of your members of staff called
Yeah.
it the yellow ring, and now
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
not.
he-
It's red ring or yellow light. What the
Yeah.
fuck? What are you doing over there in Croydon?
Sacking James Farley.
Yeah.
As soon as I hang up the phone.
Great idea. Secondly, I'm head office. He shouldn't
Yeah.
be fucking wasting my time with this shit. Just give
Well,
someone
that's-
a refund.
What I thought, but I've barely spoken. You've been doing all the talking.
Well, I'm head office.
So-
I can do that.
Yeah, but if you're so busy,
Well, I was busy, but your member of staff rang me to waste my time.
Just
So
take
you
it
saw
to
your
cash
staff
converters.
out.
but if it's
or
such a
your
waste of your
job's on the
time, what are you
line.
still do? Could we, like, if you want to have a
Your-
chat, that's fine.
Do you want a job? Yes or no?
Yes, please.
Okay, well, you saw your member of staff out. I'm putting
I've
the
told
phone
you I'm
down.
gonna sack
I've got
him.
bigger fish to fry. We're about to be bought by Sports Direct, all right?
That sounds like a
Goodbye.
really good idea. I think we should do that.
Yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be good for everyone. Goodbye.
It's going to be really lucrative. Okay, bye. Right, James, you're sacked.
Do you know, I'm going to have to talk to my union representative about this.
I don't think you have one, mate.
I do. I belong
You,
to
you certainly won't want to be bought by fucking Sports Direct.
I belong to Asdor. You'll hear from my rep.
Have you just Googled that?
No, I used to belong to it.
Oh, okay, whatever. The customers walked
union
out
of
anyway,
shop
so
and
this was all for
distributive
naught.
analytic
Has he left his PS3 here? Or has he taken it with him?
Yeah, I think he's taking it to cash converters.
Oh, fair enough. I don't think they even test him there, did he?
No.
That's probably a good idea, actually.
And scene. Jesus Christ. Sorry about that, everyone. Should we
Hold
do
on
the
to your
next?
question.
Well, sorry, that
David
was really
Driver.
good. I think that was more than they bargained for. Very quickly, last question from Maria Mendieta says, Dear TCGS Kokomo Beach Boys, during the 80s and 90s, Nintendo used to stamp games with its seal of quality, which guaranteed pixelated, unsavoury content was not being published on the NES. What would the TCGS Seal of Quality stand for if it were a requirement for games to be released? Keep up the
Oh,
astonishingly good work,
Right.
sincerely, Maria.
No
That's gonna be a huge list, isn't
microtransactions.
No microtransactions, banter, quality
Yeah,
banter.
included.
Banter.
Quality, high quality
as
banter.
standard. Yeah. What
Great
else?
sound. Great sound.
Great sound. None
Great
of those bits where you crawl between some rocks because it's
100%.
hiding the
Yeah,
loading.
no
Yeah.
crevices.
No last gen mission design.
Yeah.
Makes you
yeah.
feel like you're in a pub with your mates.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Whatever the
it's just
game
like,
is, it'll
yeah,
make-
yeah,
Whatever
it's
the
just
game
like,
is,
just like
yeah.
chatting with your mates. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
1/4 of the game will just get tired and just not bother working. About 3/4 of the way through.
Weak joke, David.
Yeah, it's quite strong.
That's quite good.
Quite strong. Yeah, no,
It has to be an
that sums it
indie
up, doesn't
game. Has to be an indie
Okay.
game.
it? Matt looking at and seeing we've only been recorded for 2 hours and 5 minutes and
I
panting.
was asking a question about the games we like.
Oh yeah, there'll definitely be a grindy bit. You know, the Matt Murray level. Oh, brilliant! We got a grind now just to fill out 25 hours. Do we have gameplay? Brilliant.
The
Brilliant.
game
That
will
works.
have one advert, but it'll really work with like the form of the tone of the game. Do you know what I mean? It'll be really cleverly
Yeah,
done.
being
Actually,
keeping, yeah.
won't be like a cash grab or anything like that.
But there'll be no further adverts because the
But there'll be-
advertising company didn't agree and just never returned.
No decks. No building. No crafting.
But well, hang on, I like those things.
Here's the
point.
thing, though, Sean.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
I listened back to an old episode of
Oh, yeah, yeah.
TCGS
Mm.
not too long ago.
Who did?
Mhm.
First
You-
mistake.
What would you say about card-based games, James? What is your view on card-based games?
I don't particularly care for them, but
You've been quite outspoken against them, haven't you, James?
Yeah.
I listened to you reviewing Color. What is it? Mario
Colour
Color Splash. Which
that was a
is,
fucking good game.
I
that
know,
was-
but it was all cards. Like,
I know it was, but it wasn't deck build. It was deck building actually.
Oh god.
Uh-oh.
Turns out he was the
Uh-oh.
OG
Caught
deck
in
building
a
Honestly.
fan.
web of lies.
That was
Yeah.
better. It was better than the most recent one. It was. Yeah, I enjoyed Colour
My
Splash.
favourite thing with James in that game was that it got really not badly
got middling
reviewed. It was
reviews,
just
didn't
like
it?
real middling reviews, and
Yeah.
James's instant reaction was, "Well, they haven't played it."
Yeah.
I was like, "Well, it's quite an accusation."
They were wrong about that game.
Right, are we done?
Yes.
I think we might be done.
Just because on the Wii U. Go on.
Matt,
Great console.
socials.
Yeah, so Thursday is
Oh.
the continuation.
No,
Oh.
not on Thursday.
Oh, is it Wednesday now?
It's going to be Wednesday this week.
So
'Cause-
today, if you listen to this pod on the day this pod comes out, tonight, Sean Bell was streaming Far Cry 2 Permadeath,
Yeah.
which
So
is now
that-
on
that
YouTube.
went
If you
really
missed
well,
The
you
first
know.
one, it's on
I-
YouTube.
Proper enjoyed it. I thought it was there was every chance I was just going to die repeatedly and just be like, this isn't working, forget it. But no, survived the full 2 hours, whatever it was.
So I missed
Can I
it
really good
live.
time.
Ask you a question.
Mm.
Can you be honest with me?
Mm.
Right. So the game opens with a bit of a tutorial, lots of story stuff.
Yep.
And just before you went out into the real world,
Mm.
you saved. And someone in the
Yes.
chat went, "Why did you save?" And you went,
Yeah.
"Force a habit."
Yeah.
Was that legitimately why you saved, or was there part of you thinking, "Well, if I do die, I don't have to do all that bit again"?
No, because I've already downloaded a save that's like right after the tutorials and stuff.
Okay.
So it was
that's
just genuinely
all right
just like, there's the save point. I should
then.
probably
There was
save.
part of me
because-
that I just thought,
yeah.
"That's bollocks." Okay, fine, it wasn't.
Well, I'm streaming the whole thing, so if anyone saw me just like, if I just died and I just loaded a save
I
and
don't
didn't say
think you
anything,
would-
nobody
Yeah,
noticed.
but you might have done,
No.
might have done a Billy Mitchell, Sean. Yeah, maybe,
I don't
maybe
think.
you're
Right,
not
here's
really
the
playing
thing.
it.
I don't think you were doing it on the sly. I don't think
Okay.
you were just like cheating or anything. I think there was part of you thinking, "Oh no, actually, if I do die, at least I could go. Well, I'll use this save because then we don't have to do all that." And I thought,
that was always the plan.
Like,
Like I've got a pre-prepared save for if I
Right,
die
right,
that's
right,
after the tutorials. So yeah.
cool. Right, okay, cool.
So yeah,
That's
that is going to be Wednesday night from 9 p.m. on twitch.tv/TCGSCO, and you can watch the first episode on YouTube. Friday night will be Hitman, will it,
No,
James?
it won't, no.
No, because
Because he's away.
no, Hitman this week. But on Sunday night, if you're a patron supporter, we'll be doing a talk server of Microsoft at
Why'd you do
E3.
that, Matt? You know that I wasn't going to be here. Why'd you do that?
Because
You
it said Hitman in there, and it hadn't been amended. So I just,
why wasn't it amended?
well, it's your
Well, you're
stream.
supposed
Didn't
to amend
amend
it,
James.
No, I'm not. What does it say?
No,
here? It
Matt.
says social. No. It says socials bracket Matt. It doesn't say socials bracket James.
Yeah, but
I'm
it's
not a
just-
mind reader.
did
Like,
Sean-
yeah,
did
I
Sean- you
read
didn't
it,
amend
you enter the
Sean's?
information.
No, but
didn't
I acknowledge that was my fault.
Mm.
I'm not having a go at Matt going, no, it's not on Thursday, you idiot.
Okay, so no James stream. But Sunday night, we'll be talking over, if you're Patreon support, that is, Microsoft E3 2004. There'll be information about that Patreon stream
There was a
in
time-
the week.
There was a time where I was getting bored of doing these talks overs of old conferences, but we've had a big old long break since we did the last one, and I am fucking fully in for this one. I cannot
hell yeah.
wait. I cannot wait. It's going to be
I'm
fun.
intrigued because I don't remember this. So if it is,
Well,
good,
Well,
then-
I think this is
There's
from
one
well
bit that you'll
before
remember.
we could easily watch these things, right? Like, no one was like watching
This
them
was
live
just
or
at the
anything
start of
this
it.
point.
No, this was
yeah.
just at the start of it when it started being live streamed and things were being
2004?
covered more. Yes. You trust me, there'll be a
Yeah,
bit
no,
where you go,
actually,
"Oh yeah,
yeah.
oh yeah." Okay, right. Yeah.
So yeah, the Far Cry streams on Twitch. If you have Amazon Prime, you have Twitch Prime, get extra accounts, etc. Patreon.com/TCGS. If you want to support us and watch the talks over on Sunday night, the website's tcgs.co for everything else. Thanks to our amazing Discord community, social bits. My brain's gone. All the other bits, etc., etc.
Before we go, can we create? Look, I know when we do the YouTube video of this, we put out a thumbnail of something that happens in the show, right? That goes along with it. Can we create one? Can we force one now?
Yeah, I think we
So
should.
like,
What should we do?
So James.
So the thumbnail is basically of the games that we mentioned. Like
yeah,
it
but
has...
there's you tweet out an image with the four of us.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
Right.
do. Yeah, I basically what I do is yeah. So what I do is I go back to the stream, I find something we're all laughing at, and that's the picture. But yeah, let's
Right.
do
Okay.
something
Well,
about
this
that.
time let's do something
This
now.
will be way easier.
They're always really unflattering though when we're all laughing. I'm always
No,
like,
I try my best, Sean.
Oh,
Trust
well,
me.
I
You
mean,
do that. You do that, Sean. Perfect. James, you look like you're asleep or that you're really bored, just completely angry. Matt, I don't know what you want to do. I'm going to do this.
I'm tempted to open this fresh beer and just like pour it down my gullet.
Yeah,
but
go on
we'll-
then. Ready?
Do
that
it,
work?
okay.
3. Yeah, hold on. Ready?
Hang on,
Three-
I'm gonna get very wet, but who cares?
Okay. 3, 2, 1. There you go.
Cool.
Nailed it.
We will.
All the
Thank
podcast
you.
listeners are going to love that bit.
Yep.
Thank you so much for living it. We will catch you on the next podcast. We love you all. We hope you have a good week. Take it easy. Goodbye.
Ta-ra.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.